right, and we are back for, assuming, the final session of episode 4, The Orphaned. So, Commander Lalk, you said that since you missed the last episode, you would like to give your interpretation of what you believe happened based on the reports.
Yeah. So, I guess just going back to the beginning of the episode, we had the captain and several crew members go on a private mission to a moon to look for some sort of, to follow up on a tip that the captain received about medicinal plant that is there. And it's the icy moon of name I cannot remember. Yeah, so they show up there. It's extremely cold. They go and try and get the plant. They notice tremors. They get one of the plants, but there's 2 types of plants and they can only carry one back at a time. They make it back to the shuttle. As they're getting ready to take off, something attacks them, which turns out to be some sort of large worm-like creature. The attack damages the shuttle on some very Star Trek jargon-like part. Breaks some pleuron.
Nanopolaron displacement regulator.
That's
Clearly. That's the first thing to break in those situations.
It was on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah.
And causing them to not be able to take off. And so do they wait out the night in the cold first, and then the next day they go out looking, if I remember correctly?
Yep.
And I believe it was Drake and Thashron that went out in search of parts.
Yes.
Or in search of something.
Yeah.
And they end up coming across another old shuttle that had broken or crashed or something on the planet. And so they're going to try and get parts out of it. And one of them was going back to inform the captain. I think it was Drake was going back, or the Shron was going back.
Not quite.
We were just radioing.
Yeah.
Oh, you're just radioing. Okay. I thought someone was out on their own. Okay. And when they noticed 2 more movement notifications on their tricoders. And
that would be Lieutenant Thadagia, who was still keeping eye over the captain, but kind of up top there. So yeah, he was the one doing that.
Gotcha. And then back on the DeGrasse Tyson, we were analyzing a rift or some sort of spatial anomaly when we come across a ship and a distress beacon, and the distress beacon is kind of like stuck in the anomaly, the rift that we found. We were able to, was it Lieutenant Alder who was it that translated, ended up coming up with the translation for their...
I think I managed to program like a translation fill-in. Yeah.
Yep, that was him.
Okay, so it was Alder. So Lieutenant Alder came up with a method of communication with them and was able to translate their distress signal. And we were eventually able to get in contact with them. They are like 13 refugee type people, children and elderly. Was there elderly or just children?
No elderly, just
some older, yeah.
There were a couple that were older, but not older in the sense that older than the children, not older folks.
Okay, and Yeah, their engines are broken and they're leaking poison into their atmosphere. So it's a pretty high level of threat that we wanted to help them out with. And so Commander Lalk tried sending an away team to take care of them, but there was a problem with the beaming over to them. And the person who was it Velik that was beamed over first? Or
I think I was, yeah.
oh, with Alder.
Velik
Like,
was Velik was the one doing the beaming.
Oh, okay. He was doing the beaming. Okay. So the first person beamed over did not appear on the other side, even though it looked like it worked properly on our side. And was that resolved immediately? I wasn't quite clear from the notes.
Velik was able to resolve it with some pretty quick thinking. He was able to rephase, yeah.
Maybe I misread, but when I was reading, it seemed to me like, oh, okay. So it just kind of jumped past him being in unknown status, and then it came back and they're like, oh, okay, we're going to teleport them to us now, and we have a similar problem, but we can fix it.
I'll have to see in case the report got deleted while I was doing editing. So I mean that's a distinct possibility. So I'll go back and take a look later. Thank you.
Anyway, so it seemed after they eventually get it sorted so that there was a difference in the spatial dimensional something subspace dimensional something was off, and once that was corrected, we were able to send him over and bring the crew back over to our ship, where there was much discussion was had, and the ship that they are on is entirely different technology that's nothing related to our ship or anything in known Federation space, and eventually find out about the people that were chasing them, the Order, and through lots of talking, this crew starts to learn about the Order and how their tyrannical empire, or I guess is an empire, Bill? Call it an empire.
Well, they didn't really establish that point, but I mean, it has that feel, doesn't it?
Oh, okay. And how the people were running from them because it was their captain or their leader had broken them out of being prisoners along with his uncle and his sad backstory. It's a lot of baggage for them to carry, but they're able to make it all on the ship.
They did, yeah, even with all that.
And yeah, and so their ship is stuck in this rift, and they eventually figure out that it's an interdimensional rift, and that they are essentially from another dimension, and we are now at the point of trying to figure out what to do with their ship and with them, because they are starting to not have the same coherence in our dimension anymore, and it's causing them problems and pain and suffering, it seems.
Something like that, yeah.
That's kind of where we left off with them.
Yeah, that's basically what the point where the episode or the commercial break happened.
Okay.
That's a pretty solid recap from the start of the episode into the last session there. Is there any other point anyone wants to make that maybe something you think is important that might have been left out, something that you remember from the last one? If so, let me know.
I did a pretty sweet use of technobabble. That was pretty significant.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, that was actually pretty darn awesome too. Having that conversation with Talbot. I enjoyed that very much. So yeah, speaking of which, on roll 20, there is the technobabble chart you could have open and minimize for any such situations in the future. So please make use of that. Anyone else want to add something? Anything that maybe stuck out to you for your particular point? If not, let me know that too, and then we'll be on our way. Nothing? No comment?
Nothing from me.
Okay.
Nothing here.
Nothing there. Okay. There's maybe one point that I don't that if you said it, I maybe did not hear it. If not, it wasn't emphasized enough. The fact that all the computer screens in the deGrasse Tyson are displaying the Omega symbol right now.
Right.
And all the systems are locked out. Once Lieutenant Alder was starting to run his simulations about what might happen, and then the effects that Talbot was feeling there, and the holographic doctor EMH Mark came to scan him, like right in the midst of that happening, every display just locked out with an Omega symbol.
Okay, so the display, everything's locked out too. It's
Yes.
not just a fancy new screensaver that got accidentally installed on everyone's terminal.
Yeah, it was last week. It was animated screensaver of Angry Birds, and you really lectured Lalk about doing that. But this time, yeah, it's the Omega. So if you turn your attention to roll 20, you'll see exactly what that screen looks like, unless I'm showing you the wrong screen. So if you can see an Omega there, then you're seeing what you're seeing on the screens there on the deGrasse Tyson. Are you seeing that?
Yeah, seeing.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's where we're going to pick up now. As we come back from the commercial break, we will be on the bridge, and there it is, Commander. Like, all of the displays everywhere on the bridge are now showing this Omega symbol with the LCARS access 001 status standby, just as you see it right there on your screen, displayed on every console from every department. And you see the crew that's now on the bridge. None of the senior staff, because they are all, of course, doing their own things, but all the B grade staff that's there, filling their places in. They are looking around confused, tapping the controls, but there's nothing on their controls. Nothing is activating.
Oh, Lieutenant Thadagia, do you have control of your console?
Thadagia is on the ice planet.
Alder, sorry.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Alder.
Commander, it's just the Omega sign here. I don't know what's happened. I've tried to call Velik to find out from Talbot, but it seems Talbot is currently, how could I put it, reverting to his the alternate dimension or universe they are from. So I'm not sure how we should proceed.
Have you tried pressing caps lock? Does the light still come on?
And I'm frantically hitting that button as he says it. No dice, Commander.
Systems must be hard locked. Is it possible for us to do a reboot? Have you tried turning it on and off again?
I wonder if Velik will be able to somehow reset our systems from where he is.
Lieutenant Commander Velik, are you having
Commander.
issues?
Yes, I am, Commander. And to confirm, we have both tried caps lock, Control Alt Delete, and switching it on and off again. None of them have worked so far.
Frightening situation.
Okay, I have to interrupt right there since you called into Velik, because things are a little bit worse in Velik's side of things there. So jumping ahead to sickbay, and where is it? Jumping ahead to sickbay right now. We have Talbot now is kind of
some ugly mofos.
They are pretty ugly. Yeah, you didn't get a chance to see them last time. Talbot is kind of writhing on the ground. One of the children are kind of getting up out of their beds from treatment because they're feeling okay and they're getting closer. They're looking panicked. Sharmek is also looking very worried next to you, Valak. But Talbot's on the ground and he's writhing in pain. That's kind of taking everyone's attention right now. The children are just screaming and whimpering, and they're running up to him, touching him. He looks kind of normal, but there's a sense that he's becoming a little out of focus as you're looking at him. Velik, that is. Are you going to attempt to do anything, or what is your priority right at this moment?
Mark, do we have confirmation that they are on their current status?
He looks at his tricorder and said, "I wish I had something good to report to you, Commander, but I've never dealt with a patient that was ceasing to exist in the same universe as me."
I wonder if there's some way we could find a way to stabilize their presence in this reality.
Well, if there is something, I hope you get on it, because I'm a doctor and not an engineer.
Okay.
So I think as he says that, you feel a really sharp pinch in your hand, Valak, the hand where you picked up the ring that was on Talbot's finger.
Okay, so I look at the hand, and what do I see?
You look at the hand, and the ring is gone just as soon as you see it hit your foot and start rolling away.
So the ring fell through my hand?
It would appear so.
Okay. I try to touch the console to make sure that my body is still solid.
Okay, you touch it and you contact it, no problem. But now you start seeing what looks like small sparks or maybe small arcs of energy coming off the ring. And just as that's happening, the ship starts shuddering again, just like when you were approaching the anomaly the first time.
Okay. I'm loath to touch the ring if it's giving off sparks. Is there some way do I have a device of some kind that I can use to scan it from here, or do I have to go get something from engineering?
You could use your tricorder as usual.
Okay, so I'd like to use my tricorder then to figure out what's going on here.
Okay. Just pulling your scan out of it, just same as before. You are sensing that its frequency is starting to vary. Its subspace frequency, I'm sorry, I should say, is starting to vary from what everything in this universe is resonating at.
So it seems that is there any way I can tell if the ring has a higher degree of subspace energy, or if the frequency is radiating it from it?
It doesn't appear that it has anything particularly different about it. Just perhaps due to its small size, it is becoming unsynced faster.
Okay. Perhaps if I could find some way to stabilize the ring, use it as a test subject, I could find something to do to help the patients.
So what would you like to do?
Is there a way for me to is there a scan I can perform on it to find a way, if there's a way to refocus the isometric flux?
You would have to probably put it inside an actual like scanning device. So right there from your tricorder, you're just getting the outer reading. So you would probably have to take it to engineering, to a specialized system to make that scan.
Okay, can I tell from the tricorder if it's safe to pick up?
You won't know if it's safe or not. You just know that it is becoming unfazed in and out. It's not completely losing it, but it just appears that whatever rephasing technique you use bringing them onto the ship, that's only lasting temporary, but the longer they're here, the more that quick fix is wearing off. So what's going to happen if you touch it, you can't really say.
Okay. Since it's phasing in and out, even if I could touch it, it would probably just fall back through my hand again. Is there some sort of container on the ship that I could use to hold it stable to get it down to engineering?
Again, it would be hard to say what could hold something that is becoming unfazed.
Okay. I think maybe the best thing to do is try to get down to engineering and see if I can figure out what's going on from there.
Okay.
As you're leaving the room, you hear over the radio, Lieutenant Commander Velik.
Yes, Commander.
Are you there with Talbot still?
Yes, I am, sir.
I understand that he might be in a great deal of pain, but if you can you please have him? Can you please show him one of your consoles? I assume your consoles are the same as ours, in that they all have this ancient symbol on it.
Yes, they are, sir.
All right.
I will attempt to have him look at it and relay his response back to you.
Please do.
Okay.
So I go down to Talbot.
Okay.
And and I help him try to help him to his feet to show him the console.
Okay.
Do you know what this symbol is, Talbot?
He's wincing in pain. He's looking at it like, no, why? Is it bad for me?
I don't know if it's bad for you, but I feel that your current condition coinciding with this symbol appearing on all our screens is not a coincidence.
I'm sorry. I don't know what it is. Sharmek.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Sharmek is just going to scream at that moment. Say, Mr. Lieutenant Commander, please look. And she points at where the ring was.
Okay, so I look at where the ring is.
Where the ring was. It's sparking a bit more, and then you see it just slip through the floor itself. And just a moment later, there's the sound of a pretty sizable explosion one deck down, and the ship just shudders violently. So everyone, wherever you're at, who's on the ship, please do a typical Star Trek lurch from an impact thing. Okay, everyone good? Good.
Oh!
There we go. So there's a big shocking impact and the definite sound of an explosion one deck below you, Velik. Everyone, you felt it. Commander Lalk, you felt it on the bridge. Lieutenant Alder, you felt it inside the science lab.
Commander Alder, Commander Velik, status report. What was that?
It's a very good question, Commander. I will go down to investigate immediately.
Lieutenant Alder,
Well,
what would you like to?
I wanted to check, like, so in terms of the computers, we've just got no access at all. We can't use anything, right?
Right now, nothing. Yeah.
Okay, so like I could say currently I'm dead in the water. Like I can't do any scans, anything, right? Other than tricorder.
Basically, yeah, the tricorder is the only thing you have that technically is working.
Okay, Commander Log, I think it is urgent we get the computers, the ship's systems back up and running as soon as possible. I think it's far too coincidental that Talbot starts suffering from this phase shift as this symbol appears here. And I still have a hunch this has something to do with the order And I wish we had the ability to sort of see if anything further is happening with the rift that the ship was found in.
Do as you think best. In the meantime, on our side, I'm having everyone here on the bridge try and get computers back up and running. And at the same time, we must continue to investigate what is happening with
Understood, Commander.
with our refugees.
Understood.
All bet.
I'll start working on the computers if I can.
Okay.
I'm not an engineer as such, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna try and sort of in the science lab at least try and fiddle around as best I can to try and get something working.
Okay. So you're just going to do your best, and you got of course Tlar with you to criticize everything that you're doing as you're doing it.
As per usual.
As per usual. Okay, Commander Lalk, just on the bridge again, real quick. Just as you finish up your conversation with Lieutenant Alder, you notice since you're occupying the captain's chair now because you're acting captain, you notice on the only thing that comes to life that is not this Omega symbol, there is a glowing indicator on the captain's console showing an emergency transmission communication going to the captain's ready room.
I will accept it.
Okay. You would not be able to accept it here. It has to go in the ready room.
Oh, it has to. Okay, then I will go to the ready room to take it.
Okay. So you head off into the captain's ready room, which is the ready room even ready? That's the question. Okay, the ready room is here. Okay, you step into the room and go over to the captain's desk. Sit down, and you see that her personal console also has the Omega symbol on it, but there is still the only other thing that's active on this console is the acceptance button for this transmission.
I'll accept it.
Okay. You sit down, you push the accept button, and as soon as you push it, you see the screen come to life with the face of Admiral April Herbert from the Narendra station. And simultaneously, as soon as that appears, you hear the doors of the ready room automatically lock, which is very unusual. The Admiral is looking at you with a very severe expression on her face. Commander, where is Captain Salvek?
She's away on a personal mission. Might we get straight to the point of this? We're in somewhat of an emergency currently, and I can't say that I have time for pleasantries.
Commander, I'm afraid you don't know exactly how grave this emergency is.
Please explain quickly.
This is going to be a little difficult as you do not have access to this information. But
well, then give me access. My crew are in danger currently, and I must do everything in my power to right them. And we have refugees on board of an unknown alien race that we are also tending to. Do not have time for excess levels.
Commander, I'm afraid the entire quadrant is in danger at this moment.
Is the war really made it out this far?
It's not the war, Commander. It's your ship.
Please go on.
And with that, we're cutting over to AK-807B.
Of course. Just when it gets juicy.
Just when it gets juicy. Let's see. Back on the snowy doughy planet. Ice planet. There we go. All right. There we are. Thadagia.
Man, that picture makes it look like we're playing some Diablo 2.
You are. And you don't even know it. Thadagia, are you there, my friend?
I am here.
All right. So, oh, I'm just throwing the shuttle away instead of grabbing the captain. Okay, so Thadagia, she's sleeping. That's why she's sideways. Thadagia, okay, you're up on the snowbank, and just as we left off before the commercial break, you got those two blips coming in from the west, and you radio into Drake Drake and Thishran, asking for suggestions of what you might do. So Drake, that was the last thing you heard. Tadagia warning about a massive storm front on the way in, and then saying that there are two motion detector blips coming in. Thishran is with you too, but right now you are the security lead, so this is something that would apply to you most of all.
So yeah, Pelagia, my best suggestion for the time being is to hunker down in the ship with the captain, try to keep her safe. But I'm also again going to suggest throwing the plant outside. This is a very cold and desolate planet, and yet is able to maintain a lot of animal life. So given that we can only seem to find these plants, they may well be after this.
That is possible. Captain, this is your mission.
She radios. She's on the communicator because you're still outside the shuttle. He said, "Now, the mission is to try to obtain these samples to see if they could be of use to the Federation. However, the samples would be useless to us if we do not get off this planet alive." Thishran is also going to speak up and again reiterate what he said last time, saying by no means should you get rid of those plant samples. They could be too valuable for the Federation.
In the end, this is going to come down to your decision, Tadashi, but we know where the plants are now. We can go and get more if needed. Better than you getting eaten by worms.
This is true. Okay, I will take that under advisement. I'm gonna head back to the shuttle.
I'm glad the captain's singing too. She's sounding in high spirits now. Okay, so Thadagia, you're running back down to the ship, right? Down off the big snowbank that you're parked around, right?
Yes.
Okay, so give me, you want to get there before the blips arrive, I imagine. So give me a security and fitness roll. This is going to be difficulty of 1 because you are Andorian.
All right, security and fit.
Okay, did it with a 0, so no, what's it called? No success at all. So you're rushing back down to the down off the snowbank, getting down to the shuttle. But before you can get there, what is the thing again? Sorry, I have to do that. Before you can get there, there we go. 2 of the creatures burst out of the, what is happening here? Can't even get that thing. 2 of the creatures burst out from underneath the snow, and they are racing to the shuttle, and they get to it before you do. And again, they have like these large kind of like flaps that look like their head, but it splits open to reveal the beaks inside, and they start grabbing at the shuttle with it, seemingly trying to rip it apart. And right now, all they're doing is with their brute strength is shaking it very wildly.
All right, Captain. Looks like we're gonna have to take Drake's advice. If it's possible, you can make it to the entrance. Try tossing those samples out. Maybe that will cease.
Lieutenant, I'm afraid I'm finding it a bit difficult to stand at the moment, particularly with the shuttle being tossed about as such. I'm afraid I'm going to have to call on you for some assistance here.
No problem, Captain. Is it possible to just take my pull out my phaser and just
Okay.
fire in their general direction off to the side, maybe to create sort of like a distraction?
Okay. You could fire. This is without a roll. So you're firing just generally at the direction, but it's not phasing them. Hey, look what I did there.
Oh. Okay. How far away am I from the shuttle?
Oh, you're not too far. You're not too far. You're just coming down the snowbank, so you're probably within a few meters from the shuttle. They seem to be ignoring you. They are just going for the shuttle, and like I said, they are like shaking it about,
Okay.
like just clawing at it with their pinchers and using brute force against the thing.
All right. You say, Captain, brace yourself. I'm gonna want to fire again, except this time at the closest creature that I can, and put it on maybe like the medium setting, stun, perhaps, not to hurt it that much, but
Okay, medium
at least
setting.
get its attention.
So for that, I would say that would be. Let's see. I would say that would be using your calibration. So your minor action would be calibrating and adding piercing, which piercing, what level of piercing does the phaser have? Is it piercing 2?
Let's see.
Oh no, it's actually not written on your sheet, is it? I think it's piercing 2 or vicious 1 when you use the charge. Let me see. Yeah, piercing 2. It's on my board here. Okay, so what that does is for every effect rolled, if you hit, that's how much resistance you negate before applying your damage. Okay. So can you give me your phaser roll? Now, basic roll is going to be, again, control and security. You're going to be rolling 2. Are you going to add any extra dice?
Yes, I want to use. How many do I have left? 2, right?
We have, oh no, that's just for your expedition expert. We have 3 momentum left in our pool. There's 3 momentum and 3 threat in case you haven't seen the Discord.
Okay, I see. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to use a dice, an extra dice, just in case.
Okay. Now let me get to the creatures page here right quick. Okay. With where the creature is. All right, so you're going to roll 1 extra die. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay, so that's 1 momentum spent. So you're rolling 3 dice. So the task roll is 3. Oh, hang on a second, Gene. Hang on a second, Gene. Hang on a second, Gene. Oh, there you go. Well, I mean, you don't have to hang on a second. I think for your first roll when you're running down, I think you only rolled 1 die. It was just a difficulty of 1, but you still rolled the 2 dice. So you might have actually you might just click that thinking it was difficulty. So we're going to file that under whoopsie daisy, and we're going to try to avoid that for next time. Okay. All right, but anyhow, this time you don't have to worry about that. It's on difficulty of 2 for a range shot, and you got 3, so you got that momentum back that you spent. Now what you have to do is roll the damage for it. So click the delta icon next to your phaser. You scored the hit. Okay, that's good. Two and to dodge, yeah. Okay, just saying there. So that is, you got 2 effects on there, which means you are going to remove all the resistance they have. And then that's 3 damage total because each effect also counts as 1 hit. So all 3 of those go directly onto the creature. So you fire and you definitely score a hit in its side. It lets out a shriek and it lets go of the shuttle and it starts burrowing under. Meanwhile, the second one is still still going at the shuttle, attacking it, seemingly oblivious to what's been happening.
Yeah. I want to how close are they to the entrance to the shuttle?
This one is on the side, so it's like grabbing onto the pylon that the nacelle's connected to and like biting that, but just due to how massive it is, like you would have to run up to the side of it to be at the door. But whether it could see you or not, you're not really sure.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna guess safely close to it that I can.
Okay.
And I guess I'll try to fire another shot into its side as well.
Okay, using the same settings, right?
Yes.
All right, then do that, please. So just make your roll one more time. Are you going to spend momentum again or no?
No.
Okay.
Not this time.
Again, you need 2 successes to hit it. And you got it. Okay. Roll the damage again. See what you do. Wow. You got all 2s on those. So is that, hang on a second. Gene, let me see. Something doesn't seem right here. Well, I know your character is not a security person, but I mean, that even looks low for even a non-security person. But I mean, what do I know? We never get into fights in this game, so how am I to say? Phaser type 1. So 2. Oh yeah, that's it. That's just how weak you are. I apologize, sir. Yeah, you are just that bad. Okay, I apologize. No, that's no problem there. Just poor Gene, but that's an awesome roll. That's the maximum amount of hits that you can score on the thing at your level. So that's amazing. And let's see here, that is going to deal 5 hits directly. So you crawl over, you crouch and you crawl around the side of the shuttle to get into range close to the door so you could see the thing. You see the creature clamped on, shaking away with its big bulbous body. You aim, you fire, you hit the thing square on. It lets out this really pitiful wail, and then it flops over and lies motionless.
Oh, okay. It's like threat's been neutralized, Captain. I'm coming aboard.
Good job, Lieutenant. Okay, you go to the door, you open the back and head inside. Real quick, Drake. Mr. Drake. Yes. Oh my God, I just killed you, Gene. I'm sorry about that. I just killed you on your character icon. It's clicking the wrong guy.
Don't kill me.
Oh. I'll kill anyone I want to. Sorry, just playing around with role-playing. Okay, Drake, you got your message from Tadajia. What's going on? You made your statement of get rid of the plant. Thishron was against you. But you're both there at this shuttle, and you have no update on what's happening now. You have your own mission to attend to, but you are now at this old Federation shuttle, maybe anywhere between like 50 to 100 years old shuttle based on its design. What's your plan?
First of all, gonna make my way around to the door and try and get in.
Okay, the door you got pried open a bit at the end of the last session, so you got open enough that you could go in. You see that it's completely empty, aside for snow that poured in through the gap because it was never properly closed.
Okay, cool. Then, yeah, I'll make my way and try to the consoles and try and activate the shuttle.
Okay, you can see that the shells have very, very, very little power left in its cells remaining, so you might be able to get a console on in very low power mode, but you're not going to be able to activate the entire shuttle. And even what you can get on, it'll be similar to safe mode on a computer. You're not going to have full access to things. It's just going to be barely around before the batteries finally give out.
Just to confirm, I'm guessing I would know if the battery goes dead, that doesn't affect the nano crap or
It won't.
The thing.
It won't break anything. It'll just be out of gas. It'll be a dead battery out of gas. It just
That's
a
fine, then.
hulk of metal. Yeah.
Then, Tashran, can you work on getting off both of the nanopolaron displacement regulators? I'm going to try and see if I can find out why the ship is here and how it got here.
Thishron agrees to that. Why did that not do anything? Thishron agrees to that, and he heads out to the nacelle, and he starts to work on it, being that he's a shuttle expert. He's the one that has the best chance of repairing and fixing everything. All right, so he leaves you alone inside the ship, and you can access its logs.
Yeah, so I want to look around inside to see if I can find out why it was here, and
Okay,
as much as I can.
all right. Now here's the thing. You might be able to access the log now and watch it. But the problem is that if the battery were to die while you were doing that, you might lose that data. Or what you could do, which would be safer, is you could try to download the information into your tricorder in order to review later when you get either back to your shuttle or the DeGrasse Tyson, but you won't have that information with you right now. So it's your choice how you're going to do it.
I want to know more, given my nosy self. So yeah, I'd try and download it then rather than look at it now.
Okay. So in that case, it's not going to take a roll for you because it's not going to be that risky. You're just going to plug in your tricorder to it, and your tricorder has its own, own power supply. So you'll be able to keep that download going. It's going to take a few minutes, so you'll have to leave your tricorder sitting there. So you're free to help
around the shuttle
or
first.
look around the shuttle. Yeah.
Yeah, look around, see if I can find anything useful. Because if there's a storm coming in and this thing doesn't have power, we're in for a long and cold journey. So yeah, whatever I can find.
All right, you looking around the shuttle, you see that most of it has been stripped clean in the sense that the equipment and everything has been taken from it. It hasn't been stripped clean as if it was scavenged, but it looks like somebody has made sure to take all of their belongings behind, all of the technology that was left there. So it appears that this shuttle has been abandoned.
No food, nothing warm, an extra coat.
Nothing,
Okay, if I look around and I can't find anything else, then I will go and help the Shran.
Okay. You head outside, and as you climb out the doors that weren't properly closed or open to begin with, when you get out there, you finally have your chance to really see the horizon too. And as you're looking out to the west, because as you step out the shuttle, it's kind of facing a little bit southeast. But as you step out and you look to the west itself, you do see a very ominous line that stretches from one end of the horizon to the other, of this black roiling mass of storm clouds. It looks far more massive than any storm you've ever seen before in your life, and it's stretching again across the entire field of the horizon and heading your way, according to Thadasia.
Okay. That's going to be an issue. Is there any way I can tell how quick it's moving? How much time we've got?
Not until you get your tricorder back.
Okay, well, in the meantime, I'm going to try and get those nanoregulators off as quickly as possible.
Okay. Let's see here. So you go to Thishran, and he's saying they're working on. He has one of the nacelles open. He has the starboard nacelle open, and he's digging inside. He's telling you that these old shuttles don't have the nano polaron displacement regulators. Instead, they have multivariant polaron displacement regulators, which isn't much of a problem. They're just not as efficient. Multivariant, in case you didn't know.
Say it again.
Multivariant polaron displacement regulators. Okay. They will do the same trick. They're just not as good. It's older technology, but have to get them disabled. He offers you his tricorder to check out the storm.
Oh, perfect. Let's do that.
While he's doing that. So while he's working on that, you get your chance to scan that. And again, it's going to be difficulty 0, but I'll let you make the roll just to try build up some momentum for everyone.
Control science?
Control and science, yeah. So difficulty 0, and again, you'd be able to build up momentum, hopefully. And you could also use momentum to ask for information questions. So there you go. You get 2 more bits of momentum on there. Scanning it, your question was like, how long do you have? It looks yeah, the storm is probably going to be at the area where you all are in about 8 hours.
How long did it take to get here?
It'll take about 8 hours to get there.
No, as in how long did it take me and Thishran to get here from the other
shop? It took you about 2 hours.
Oh, okay, so we have some time. That's fine. Okay, how many questions do I have before I have to start using momentum? Depends on the question.
Yeah, it depends on the question, yeah.
Okay, what type of storm is it?
Scanning it again, that one, it's not really going to take momentum because you could tell it's basically the equivalent of a blizzard and a hurricane. It's basically a frozen hurricane.
Sounds nice.
Lovely.
I honestly can't think of anything else to ask.
Okay.
How bad would it be? How quick are the winds? How bad would it be if we get hit by it outside?
That one, I will also give to you for free. I will give to you for free. It doesn't look like it would be survivable.
Okay.
And the shelter, I'll just give you also for free here too. This shuttle itself that you're at, if you were still there, you would probably not survive in it because there's no heat at all, and you're likely to be buried under a few meters of snow during it.
Great. Okay. Oh, can I you mentioned right at the beginning there was flying creatures on the
Yes.
planet. Can I see them fleeing?
Can see them fleeing. Looking up in sky, you don't see any of them in the sky currently.
Okay. Then I think that's everything I need to do, and I'm going to try and I'm going to check on my tricorder and then help the Shran if I'm able to.
Okay. You go back to your tricorder. It's done downloading. So you're able to snap it up, close it shut. And just as you're on your way out to get to Theshran, you hear the sound of a zap, like, and you hear a very sharp, quick of Theshran, followed by the thumping sound.
Okay, run outside and see what the hell happened.
You come outside the shuttle, come around to where Theshran is, and you see him lying unconscious in the snow, and just a little wisp of smoke dissipating from inside the nacelle that's open.
First I'm going to go check on Theshran, see if I can see what's wrong, see if I can help him wake up.
You're unable to get him to wake up.
Shit. Can I check that he's not in any danger except for the fact that he's out?
From what you can tell, is he's unconscious, but it's going to be a bit of a problem now that you're on the time limit.
Great.
Okay, we're going to jump real quick back to the deGrasse Tyson, if I may. Let's see where we leave off here. Okay, right now, Mr. Alder.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Let's go for this. I want to do a roll straight off the bat here.
Okay.
Get us flying through the skies a bit smoothly.
Okay.
I've obviously been working there with Talar on the computers.
Yes.
Right, to somehow try and get access back. So I'm not sure if I could do a role on control and engineering with a focus on computers, seeing that's one of my focuses.
Okay.
Or control, and I'm not sure exactly what would go with control as such. I'm assuming engineering.
It would be engineering unless you're doing something completely unorthodox. Yeah.
Okay. Oh man, you see, every time I gotta remember how to actually do this. Darius Elder.
Okay. So tell me again what exactly you're trying to do with it, just to let me know.
Okay, so I'm
what
trying to
we're going for.
regain access, or not really regain access, but I'm trying to sort of get the computers back up and running. So I've been fiddling and pulling out those like little see-through plastic things they always do in the shows, and banging it with a hammer. And
those are isolinear chips, my friend.
oh man, I don't know. I've just never really. I prefer Fritos or.
Yeah, well, either way. I mean, they're not as tasty. I'll give you that.
Okay, so let me see. Oh man.
Okay, so you're swapping them out. Are you using any momentum as well, or any other thing about your character?
Oh man, let me quickly refresh my old brain on momentum usage. I want to see quickly. Could I create an advantage at all?
What kind of advantage are you looking to create?
I'm either thinking an advantage or an opportunity in that I want to buy some extra D20s. Can I buy D20s ahead of time, right?
You buy D20s before you make a roll.
Okay, so can I use one momentum, buy one D20?
Okay.
I'm just trying to remind myself now if any of this is actually going to come and help me with my characters, whatchamacallits, thingamabobs, doohickeys.
Values, talents, focuses.
Ship's computers or sensors. No, that won't help me. So I'm just double checking like all my talents again. Cautious science, attempt tasks that discipline, no. Testing theory. When you attempt a task using engineering or science, you may roll one additional d20 so long as you succeeded at a previous task covering the same subject. Now, I wouldn't have done that before, right? Computer expertise. Whenever you attempt a task involves the programming or study of a computer system, would that come into play?
That would happen. So you would get, actually, without spending that one momentum, you get that third die for free right now. So if you want to buy a second die after that, that's going to cost you 2 momentum or 2 threat. Either way.
I shall leave the pool of momentum for Lalk and Velik then to peruse and use at their will. Okay, complication this. What are you throwing in my path?
For this one, it's going to be complication range of 2. It's going to be, but it's going to be a difficulty of 3 to do this. It's going to be a pretty difficult one. So if you do want to buy more dice, now would be the time to do it.
So let me refresh myself then. So complication range will be
2.
2.
Yes.
Task roll.
Right now it's 3 because you got that 1 bonus die for your computer expertise.
I mean, so I need to match 3 successes then, right?
Yes.
Okay, so currently momentum is sitting at how much?
5 momentum and 3 threat.
5 momentum. Okay, can I use, if I want to get 2 dice, that will cost me a total of how much momentum?
If you want to get a second die in addition to the free bonus you have, it's either 2 momentum or 2 threat.
So I could do 2 momentum. If I wanted to get 1 further extra die on top of that?
It would be 3 momentum or 3 threat.
Okay, can I use all the momentum, get those 2 and move my task roll up to 5?
Yes, if you spend them all, yes, you'll get 5 for your roll.
Consider them all spent. Okay,
they are all spent.
Shall now roll the dice as one does. Geez, this better work. Oh, there we go. 1.
You got
critical
4
fail.
4 successes, so you gain back 1 momentum. You got 1 complication, which I am going to buy off as 2 threat instead of adding a complication to you.
Okay.
All right, so we'll save that for later. So that is that. So yeah, you sit there, you're underneath the console and you are swapping out piece after piece after piece, isolinear chip, you're rerouting things, doing your best. You see that this seems to be hardwired into the computer systems completely. So by bypassing the security, you're finally able to free up the computers in the science lab. So this would be something you would probably have to do in each section of the ship. But right now, you were able to restore the science lab computers by basically cutting them off from the ship's fail safes.
The momentum I got, I can use that as an information spend, right?
Oh, yes, you can. Yeah.
Do I have any idea of how this happened?
How this happened?
What may have caused this?
Again, it is, you could tell it's not something that happened to the ship. It's something that has been built deep within the programming of the ship's computers. It was basically triggered by a failsafe, but you would have to determine like what was it that set the failsafe off. You wouldn't be able to do that from underneath the console working on it as you are, but if you go back to your console, you could see if there was something, whether it was something you did or something the ship detected or something that just came up, but something triggered this lockout on the whole ship.
Well, I'd obviously like to do that. I'm going to sort of like narrow down exactly what triggered this. So I'm going to start working in my console and try and get through to the bottom of this. At the same point, I want to contact Commander Lalk on the bridge then.
Okay,
and inform him of such.
Okay, we'll get to you contacting Lalk in a second as soon as that point in time is reached there. Okay. Let's jump to Velik. Also, Velik, you went down one deck to see what happened, right?
You're muted.
Yes. Sorry.
Okay. All right, so you went down one deck to the area directly underneath sickbay, and you see that there appears to have been a small explosion. A small explosion. There's scorch marks and charring on the bulkheads. There's damage to the consoles. There's the panels they have in the hallway there, which are still displaying the Omega symbol. A lot of them are dead, and some of them are just broken and sparking. But it seems that where the ring fell, there was almost like a low yield grenade went off.
Okay. So I should probably try to contain that ring since it's causing a lot of problems, it seems.
Right now, you don't see the ring at all.
Okay, the ring's not there. I'm not really sure what my options would be here, actually.
It is a confusing situation. So yeah, I mean, I feel you on this. But from what it looks like, why don't you do a insight and science, or insight and I'd say insight and science is the best for right now, since you don't have any access to things right now. And this is just going to be, again, difficulty 0, help you build up more momentum.
So are the tricoders working right now?
The tricorders are still working, yeah.
Okay.
It's like everything that's connected to the ship itself is locked out.
Okay.
But the tricorders are working.
All right, so sorry, what did you see? Insight and science, and what did you say after that? What was 0?
It's just difficulty of 0. So
Okay. All right.
Yeah, even if you don't get a success, you're still succeeding. But any success you get is going to build momentum for you.
Okay.
And I am not on the page. Okay. And okay. Well, no momentum gain, but basically, from the looks of it, it's pretty clear to you that what exploded was the ring itself. That you would guess, just as was speculated before, like what would happen if this like completely polar opposite frequency of an object would come in contact with the universe. It would become severely unstable, and it would appear that the ring lost its phasing that was granted to it by the transporter. And even at such a small size, it did quite a lot of structural damage to the inside of the ship here, but fortunately not that much to cause a breach.
Okay, so then I should probably, so the ring is not the problem now, is what you're saying.
The ring was a problem up until the point it exploded, and now the ring no longer exists in either universe.
Okay, so so the same thing could potentially happen to the passenger, the guests on the ship then.
That would be a good assumption based on your insight.
All right, so then, well, we got to figure out how to stop them from blowing up, but we probably have to get the systems up and the computers back up and running first, right?
Yeah.
So is there any way I can help out with that?
Well, as the chief engineer, you have the best access to the system. So once you establish what's going on, yeah, I'm sure you'll be able to come up with a good plan of attack. But where would you like to go from this point here? Because there's not really much you could do now that you've seen the state of this corridor and you confirm the threat that's at hand right now.
All right, I guess not sure where the exact spot would be, but someplace where I can start tearing wires out and start figuring out how to fix the systems.
Okay.
It
Probably
seems like obviously banging away at monitors and stuff isn't going to do much, so we got to have to try some hardware stuff.
Yeah, then I would say probably the computer core would be your best bet. So that would be where you would start to head to while this is going on, right?
Okay.
Okay, so we'll have you go there. We'll go back to the ready room then right quick, if we may. Okay, So Commander Lalk, you got the message that the Admiral Herbert says that the deGrasse Tyson is the threat to the quadrant.
I don't understand. Does this have to do with the rift?
I do not know what rift you are speaking to, Commander, but am I under the correct assumption that you have lost access to everything on your vessel?
That would be an accurate assessment of the situation.
Okay. I am going to send you in this personal command override code. Please enter into the captain's console, and that should unlock the systems once again, since the captain is not there to do it herself. And she transmits the code to you.
Done.
Okay, and you instantly do that.
Yeah.
Commander, I am afraid you picked one of the worst times to be in command of this vessel with the captain gone.
Well, considering our current situation and previous situations we have been in, I'm not sure that is as accurate as your previous statement, but go on.
There is a directive in Starfleet, a directive that is only taught to captains and fleet admirals. And I'm afraid that it's highly classified. And if there was any other way, I would not be able to talk to you about this. But with the captain gone and I have no idea what you are facing out there, I have to grant you not clearance, but I am going to have to tell you what's going on and hope that you do not spread word of this to a single member of your crew outside the captain.
Well, that might be difficult. We Klingons are the chatty type.
Yes, so I've learned working on the Rendra here. So allow me to explain. I'm sure you've never heard of it, but there is another directive that Starfleet works under called the Omega Directive. Am I correct that you are unfamiliar with this, Commander?
It's the first I've heard of it.
Then, so far, things are working as planned. However, that's about to change. The Omega Directive is in response to an Omega particle, which was discovered over 100 years ago by some Federation scientists. To get to the point, it's quite a powerful and quite an unstable particle. The threat is, Commander, that these particles, even a single particle, were it to become unstable in anywhere in space, the explosion itself would be extremely devastating, but it would also shatter, for lack of a better term, subspace for a radius of multiple light years, which would then render warp travel impossible in that region forever, as far as we can tell. That's a single particle.
All right, that is quite the complication.
That is extremely complicating, because were a handful of these particles to go off in the chain reaction, an entire quadrant of space may no longer be able to travel the stars. All spacefaring civilizations would, for the most part, cease to be, and we would all be stuck wherever we were at the time.
And what do we know of these particles?
What we know of these particles really, Commander, does not matter. What we know as part of the Omega Directive is you are to prevent this from happening by any means. You are to make sure that these particles do not get formed. You are to prevent these particles from becoming unstable. You are to do everything in your power to make sure that these particles do not exist. This also supersedes the Prime Directive, Commander, which I know may be shocking to hear, which is why only captains are supposed to have this information. This has to be a very swift and severe decision. You have to make sure that this fate does not befall the galaxy, Commander, or you might end all of spacefaring expeditions for every civilization.
Understood. Is there a database of information available on how we can contain or remove these particles, or more about them so we can know how they're being generated? I assume that the one has been detected within or near the ship in order for this protocol to have begun.
Yes, that was my question to you. I wanted to find out what the ship was doing. The ship automatically sends a subspace emergency on a very rare and secure channel when one of these particles are detected. And that's when we received it here at Narendra Station. And I'm trying to figure out what's happening there. And with the captain gone, this is complicating things even further. So please tell me what you are doing, and have you detected anything of the sort?
We are currently investigating a rift torn in space, and through our investigation have determined it to be an interdimensional rift that has a ship from another dimension stuck partially through it.
I see. And have you detected any sort of unusual particle or unidentified particle from this rift?
I believe we have.
Then
we have, right?
Not exactly, no, but
Okay.
Alder was doing scans of like possible consequences right when this triggered. So
Okay.
it might be that whatever his scans were could have been what detected and tripped this procedure.
We have my technical staff has not reported anything yet of the nature that you have described.
Well, something on your ship has detected either the existence or the imminent existence of one of these particles, and we need to get it contained and or destroyed as much as we can. If it's part of a rift, we need to seal the rift. If it's something that's forming in this universe, you need to destroy whatever is going to create it.
To what extent, what of this information am I allowed to relay to my crew in order to best handle this situation as efficiently as possible?
You're to relay no information about the Omega particle nor the Omega directive itself. I need you to come to a swift decision on what action needs to be taken once you determine where that action is. And you have to just tell your crew to trust what you are doing.
All right. But if I can't share the information on the Omega particle, then how are we supposed to detain it?
You're not supposed to contain it. You're supposed to destroy it or send it back to wherever it's coming from.
All right. I understood, Admiral. It'll be done.
We're counting on you, Commander.
Well then, if there's nothing else, then I believe I have a pressing matter to attend to.
We'll be eagerly awaiting to see the outcome of this, and hopefully it'll be via a report and not a subspace shockwave.
In the case of an emergency, I will contact you again.
We'll be standing by. Good luck, Commander.
Thank you.
Okay, when the transmission ends, the ready room door automatically unlocks, and you see that the console is back to normal too. Also, Alder and Velik, while you were on your way to the computer core, you saw all the consoles restore themselves too. Alder, it's not so obvious to you because you've gone and just bypassed everything on your own. But
Okay.
were you to go out into the ship, you'd see everything else was restored to normal. But right now, you just killed the firewall in Science Bay. So I mean, don't go to any shady websites right now because you might be downloading some nasty viruses on there.
I'll tell Talar not to do his usual browsing.
Yeah. Now that makes him even angrier than usual with you. All right. So Commander Lalk, you're the only one right now that has the full weight of what's happening here, but you're not sure exactly what is going on, what triggered it.
Do I have any kind of like dossier available at my station now with information on it, or?
No, that's still stuff that is not available to you.
Okay. So I'm gonna contact an open channel to the ship, and say, attention ship, I believe we should have regained full control of the ship. If any part of the ship is unable, has yet to regain control of their station, please report to the bridge immediately.
Okay, no reports are coming in, but you do start to see that there's a damage report of an explosion down on, I forget what deck number is underneath sickbay. I'm just going to say deck 4 for the time being, but apologies. Whatever deck is below sickbay. But minor damage done.
Lieutenant Commander Bellick, what report?
It seems that there was an energy discharge from a ring carried by one of the passengers, and it resulted in an explosion on the deck. No serious damage, it seems. However, the ring seems to have vanished completely from this plane of existence, which leads me to believe that whatever effect the subspace rift had on the ring, it may soon have on our guests.
Is there any remnants of anything in the area of the explosion?
Nothing, Commander. It's as if the ring never existed.
Is there anything else that shouldn't be there? Have you scanned the area for any things that might have been created by the explosion or traces left behind?
I will do a scan just to confirm anything that remains.
All right.
Okay, and let me just jump real quick to Lieutenant Alder again, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so Alder, now that you have access back to your computers and that, you're going through and reconfirming like the information that was going through just before they got locked out, and you spot something out of the ordinary. You see that similarly to what's happening here, running your simulations about what would happen were either the deGrasse Tyson go through the rift, or if the ship from the other side of the rift becomes unfazed, the reaction that would happen, it seems that it would indeed be very violent, almost similar to a matter-antimatter reaction, just because of the polar opposite frequencies that the objects are existing at. But your information shows something else that's really that you're not exactly sure how to interpret it, but it shows that this kind of reaction has the potential to create what it's identifying as an unknown particle. Just this interaction of these two completely opposite bands of subspace, the catastrophic blast that might occur from it, according to your systems, has a potential of generating this particle that the computer is intentionally like describing as unknown particle 001.
Well, I think that would obviously be something that catches my attention immediately. This fact that unknown, like
Yeah.
I would assume either the computer or the sensors to be able to determine what sort of particle or have a name. So, Bull, if you could just repeat again, like what exactly would cause this unknown particle according to the computer or the simulation?
It
Like
would-
if
it-
we entered the.
You were running the simulations based on the idea of maybe sending the deGrasse Tyson through the rift if need be, and what would happen to the deGrasse Tyson, what you would have to prepare for, and also similarly, were a ship
Okay.
to come through from the other side. So running simulations of what the reaction would be of a completely unfazed object operating on the frequency of the opposite galaxy we're here, or your galaxy's frequency in the other universe, what would the reaction be? And that's what you were scanning. That would be so incompatible that basically the object would sort of cancel itself out, similarly to a matter and antimatter collision, but on a completely different scale. But this sort of reaction, this explosion, has the potential, not guaranteed, but has the potential to generate this unidentified particle.
Okay. I think I've solved your game tape to a degree. I'd like to contact Mark in sickbay.
Okay. Okay, Mark.
Doctor. Doctor, a few moments ago, or just recently, when I contacted Lieutenant Velik, Lieutenant Commander Velik there in the sick room, he mentioned to me that Talbot was suffering from intense pain. Is there any way you can tell me what happened just at that moment? Like, because, Bo, I'm assuming, I obviously don't know about the ring falling off Talbot at that point, right?
No,
so effectively, I'm inquiring to sort of suss that out.
Okay. The mage, he answered, yes, I'm afraid our guest is still in great pain, and it looks like he's getting worse. I wish Lieutenant Commander Velik was still here. Our friend himself seems to be sparking a little, similarly to the ring he was wearing before that disappeared.
Okay, so that's now piqued my interest. Mark, can you tell me what happened immediately after the ring fell off Talbot's finger?
Oh, it rolled around. I believe Lieutenant Commander Velik picked it up for a moment, but it seemed to have fallen through his hand as well. And then it was starting to glow and spark similarly to what I'm seeing on my patient currently before it fell through the floor. And that was immediately before the explosion rocked the ship. So I can only imagine what happened after that.
Thanks, Mark. I need to get hold of Lieutenant Commander Velik immediately. Thanks for your help.
My pleasure.
Okay, and then I'm going to beep a boop for Lieutenant Commander Velik that side.
This is Velik.
There you go.
Lieutenant Commander, I have a theory here. Running my simulations, it seems that if any sort of either if we go through the rift or something from the rift comes through to this side, and if either of our two sort of dimensions interact in a way, there could be catastrophic consequences as such. I was just speaking to Mark, and he mentioned to me that there was a ring of sorts that fell off Talbot's finger immediately before the systems shut down, and just as Talbot started reacting in intense pain. Is that correct?
That's correct. And the ring he was wearing also came out of phase, went through the floor, and caused the explosion that affected the ship not too long ago. I can find no. I investigated the explosion, and I can find no trace of the ring, which leads me to concur with your explanation. It seems that the longer these other dimensional beings remain in our reality, the more unstable they become.
I'm a bit concerned. I don't know if I'm correct, but I'm wondering if Talbot currently, by sort of not having this sort of dimensional stability given to him by the ring, I'm not sure if his phase shift might actually cause some sort of catastrophic circumstances. I'm not sure what you'd recommend, but I definitely think Commander Lalk should be informed of this as soon as possible.
Lieutenant Alder, have you spoken to Mark in sickbay?
Just briefly, and then he sort of pointed me in that you'd be chasing the ring down, or at least what had happened to it, and that's when I contacted you.
Did he, by any chance, suggest that the patient may be sparking?
He did mention something like that. I thought it was just his colorful language, but now I'm slightly more concerned.
Yes, that is very concerning. It suggests that what happened to the ring may also be happening to our friend Talbot. We should contact Commander Lalk immediately.
Okay, thank you. And then I sign off.
Okay. I'm going to assume that everyone's going to fire that away to Lalk to start on getting everyone caught up on the same page. We're coming up on a 10-minute break, so we're going to take that break. And when we come back, we're back on AK-807B. So I need my cold weather friends to get ready for some very chilly reception. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. And then we'll get back to that. So get your drinks, take your restroom breaks, and we'll be back in about 5-10 minutes whenever everyone's ready. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Coming back.
Cheerio.
Resume. And we are back from our mini commercial break. Look at that. Lieutenant Frank Drake. He's awake.
Hey.
Look at that.
He's awake.
You
for now.
don't see that often. And that is beautiful. And welcome. I'm not the only one on camera now, so I feel a little more confident about myself. Okay. So, oh my God, you're on the ice planet. Awesome. Oh man.
That's what I did in my 10-minute break.
That is sweet. That you're getting bonus points for that. And since so far everyone's received 0 points, I'm going to double that. Okay. All right. So back on the ice planet, AK-807B. Okay. Drake, you realize that that Fishron is out. Whatever zapped him there, like whatever loose coil or that, like he probably took the last of the power that was in the shuttle there directly into his body, and he is down and out for count, which presents you with a number of problems, if I may list them off for you. May I? Okay. First of all, he is the shuttle expert there, so the best person for repairing any shuttle is that man who is now unconscious in the snow at your feet. The second thing is you have a time limit. You have an 8-hour time limit of doing whatever your plan is going to be. But whatever you're going to do, which I imagine you're still trying to get this part out that you could use on your shuttle, getting back to your shuttle, getting it installed, making sure you're able to take off. All of that has to take place within the next 8 hours, which then also raises the question that with all this that needs to be done, what are you also going to do about his unconscious body? So congratulations, sir.
Yeah, lots of things to do, not a lot of time to do it. In a slightly dark way, I'm glad he took out all the electricity because I'm not going to get shocked now.
But it's a good thing you downloaded the logs before that happened, or that wouldn't have. So good on you for that, sir. That's why I gave you the option, and you chose wisely, as they say.
For once.
For once.
Now I'm probably going to choose poorly. But yeah, I mean, my plan at the moment is just, if he's unconscious and I can't rouse him. Didn't Thadashi give me something before he left?
Thadashi,
Yes,
what you gave? What did you give again?
I believe it was a
You gave like like some kind of a stimulant thing, right?
Yes, basically a stimulant, or basically a small little metal package, basically
Hmm.
to help them just in case they ran into some trouble.
Okay. Yeah. So that's what you have.
Do I know if this stimulant's the sort of thing to arouse someone from unconsciousness?
It's more like to treat not really injury, but the stresses that you would face outside. Basically, I think he gave it for you since you're not an Andorian to try to keep you going, but in the cold weather. But I mean, you could attempt that. The only other issue is whether it works or not. It would be, of course, one question. But the time you spent trying to get him awake is time you are losing in getting everyone to safety with the shuttle.
Okay. So the stimulant's more of a thing
Oh.
to keep you going.
Yeah, basically. I do want to point out here, again, in the mechanical sense, is when you have this becomes a time challenge. It's called a gated time challenge. If we're going by rulebook terms here, which, I mean, when do we ever? But what that is when you get complications on tasks, it's going to make your task longer to perform, which means that every task that you take would take probably about just looking from a strictly mechanical point of view, it takes 2 portions of time, whatever the time limit is. And since you have 8 hours right now, and just looking at the steps that need to be done, you have 6 minimum actions to do. You would need about 6 hours minimum to get everything done efficiently. But every complication that comes up eats away extra time here. So were you to have a very rough time completing one of these time challenges, you're going to run out of time before the storm hits.
Okay, great. Thanks for that.
So yeah, I need to let you know that now. So if you start using these timed chunks for like doing extra things on the side, you're going to run out of time before you could get yourself to safety.
Okay, cool. Just to confirm, the stimulant thing is ready to go. I could just inject if needed.
Can just, I would imagine, right? Tadajia, you said you were giving him a hypo spray, right?
Correct.
Was that correct?
Okay.
Yes.
Spray. I'm just thinking of, I'm going to have to carry this bugger, so it might be a bit of adrenaline to keep me going, but hey ho, we'll see. So, well, first things first, if he's down and out for the count, then I'm going to have to I'm going to have to go and get the nano. Well, it's not a nano, it's the other one.
It's the multivariant version.
That's the version, yes. The multivariant Polaron displacement regulator. I'm going to go get the one that he was trying to get out.
Okay.
So that's my first task.
So again, this is going to eat up about 2 hours worth of time of doing it, to, again, just mechanical wise, like making sure you're doing it properly, getting things out, figuring out the right way to do it. Doesn't really matter how you justify it to yourself, it eats up 2 hours of time. Now, here's the thing. You can spend extra momentum on these things. Like, I believe it's 2 momentum to save time. So it's if you got like a lot of momentum back, then you could you could use it to quicken the pace. Yeah. Right now, do you recall how much momentum you're at?
No, it kind of got a lot eaten up before. I don't know where we ended up. I think 1, 2 maybe.
Does anyone remember?
That's a no.
Nobody's keeping track. Look at that. Nobody's keeping track at all. Right now you are at 0.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay, just what I needed.
So
yeah.
Generating momentum. I mean, there'll be ways to generate momentum too. So we'll get to that. Okay. So the first thing you're going to do is attempt to get the multivariate.
If it's going to take 2 hours, I'm going to quickly drag Thadajia out of the snow and onto the back of the shuttle for a moment, so he doesn't freeze to death while he's unconscious.
Look at that.
Oh, Jesus
We got
Christ.
boarding party here. Hello, welcome home. Okay. Sorry, let me
Oh, she's gone.
yeah, she vanished into space. Okay,
Phase
so
shift there.
so you just drag him into the shuttle real quick. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello. Okay, yeah, she's phase shifting too. All right, so now you have a choice of how you want to remove it, my friend, because of you not being a direct engineer. You could do either control and engineering to try to do it properly, but it's going to be difficulty of 2, complication range of 1. Or you can do a daring and engineering, which would be a bit easier because you're going a bit slapdash on it. So it'll be a difficulty of 1, but complication range of 3, which again, complications may lower the amount of time you have remaining. But your character sheet, if I could do
The
that.
control and daring is 10 and 11, so it's not a massive difference.
Okay.
My engineering.
Oh, okay. I think it's recording now. We should be good.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, sorry about that. Just send that to me later. I gotta fix
No
that
problem.
thing. It's still doing. All right, so Drake, you yeah. So which one are you going to do? Is it
So
going to be daring or
complication
control?
range 3 with daring and complication range 2
1.
with 1 with control.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Difficulty 2 with control, difficulty 1 with daring.
Oh, so I'm more likely to pass with daring, but I'm more likely to screw up the. Oh, what's my values? What would I do here? No, leaping before you look would be probably the one here. I'm responsible for life around me.
Oh, yeah, look at that. You haven't used the value yet.
Oh, and there's 2 which kind of go against each other. Okay, well, I know I'm on a time thing here, so yeah, I'm gonna. Daring is probably going to be the way to do this then. Daring and engineering. So that's a complication range of 3, and I'm leaping before I look.
Are you okay? So you're going to leap before you look with daring. That's a perfect combination there. So I'm assuming you're going to buy the I forget what it's called. You're going to do the perfect opportunity, which gives you 2 successes, correct?
Yes, that was my plan all along.
Oh no, or you could do like with an advantage, or you could do something else. But that, I mean, you do want successes.
Yeah, I know. I want that. Whatever you just said, I didn't know that was there, but I want that.
Okay, so all right, so you used let's see, use leap before you leap. Let's see, Drake, leap before you look. Okay, you use that positively, and you get 2 successes automatically. So you don't have to buy extra dice if you don't want to, but again, I'll point out that any extra momentum that you gain, you can also, well, you have 0 in the pool now, but you can spend the momentum to try to lower the amount of time, give you more time too. So it's your choice if you want to add more threat to roll even more dice, or if you're just going to go with your regular roll of 2 plus already having the 2 successes.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind some more momentum. I'm just trying to think of how I can buy it with threat, but yeah, it's just 1 threat, right?
It'll be 2 threat now because the determination got you your first die, so the second die will cost 2.
Yeah, and we're currently on.
Threat is 5.
Go on then. I'll buy another dice.
Okay, 2 more threat, and you get to roll 3 dice now, because the 4th die was already rolled and it came up a double success. Okay.
Cool. So.
All right. Let's see what happens.
And.
Okay. So you get a total of 3 momentum generated because it was only difficulty of 1. But you also got a complication which.
And
again,
I'm going to re-roll that. As with my untapped potential, Whenever the
Oh,
character
that's right.
succeeds at a task for which they bought one or more, they may roll one. Oh no, never mind. I can't re-roll. Damn.
No, you can't re-roll. You can't re-roll. But also, I don't know. Here's the other thing. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. And I keep forgetting about untapped potential. I don't know if it was from an early version of the game that I read the rules, but it's actually a hell of a lot better than I remembered in my mind. I just looked it up again. So what you do, because you bought dice, so no matter what, you still have to roll one challenge die right now. So go ahead and roll one challenge die. So
One challenge dice. One.
yeah, anytime with untapped potential, you have to roll the challenge die when you buy a die. Okay, so what that means is you gain one extra momentum.
Cool.
What happens is with untapped potential, which I don't know where I read it and why I had it so wrong. Anytime you buy dice, no matter how you buy it, you roll that challenge die and you gain extra momentum equal to the result. But if it comes up as an effect, you also generate one threat too. So it's a lot better. I only had on my paper the effect generates a threat. So I'm like, oh, that sounds dangerous. I guess it's because, yeah, but it doesn't really fit the name. But yeah, I read it closely now. It's like, oh no, this is awesome. This is a really awesome thing. So yeah, you got 4 momentum now. Okay. But you do have a complication, which means the complication is going to make it take 3 hours unless you want to buy that off with your
all the momentum.
So it's actually only taking you 1 hour then. So you were rushing through it, you were leaping before you looked, but you just plucked out all the cables, you unscrewed everything as fast as possible, and you got it out within 1 hour. 7 hours to go before the storm hits. While that's going on, Gene, back at the shuttle, Lieutenant Fedagia, okay, while he was doing all that, you ended up killing one of the creatures. You got to the shuttle. What is your intent, sir?
Let's see. I'm gonna call him into the captain just to check in to see if she's okay. Are you okay, Captain?
A little shaken, but I believe I'm fine. Had me secured in here quite nicely, so I didn't receive any additional injury, if that's your concern, Lieutenant.
Well, I seem to have killed, quite possibly, one of these creatures here. I'm going to take a closer look at it, see if I can figure out anything that might be useful.
Good idea, Lieutenant. Keep me informed. Okay, what would you like to do then?
Okay, I'm going to run a scan with my tricorder, see if I can figure out anything about can I actually use my xenobiology focus?
Oh yeah, that would be perfect. Yeah, let's do that. Because it's a alien life, you're not sure what kind of life. So that'll be a yes on the focus then for xenobiology. Anything else you have there?
Let's see, what else do we have? Don't believe I have
nothing talent-wise, but
no.
I don't know if you want to do anything else. Okay.
All right, yeah, and I just want to take a scan if I can, see if I can even possibly take any parts from the body, if possible, if it's safe.
Test it.
Test it, yes.
Okay. All right, go ahead. It's a difficulty 0, and you have a focus used. Control and science. Did you only roll 1 die again?
Oh, yes, I believe I did. I think I switched that. That's 2 dice, correct?
Yeah.
What is the 2?
Okay. You got, well, you generated 1 momentum at least. But you also got a complication. So we'll do that in a second. Actually, I'm just going to take that as threat because I have an idea. But you generated 1 momentum. Okay, you crouch down next to the creature and that's rapidly cooling off. Yeah, it's definitely dead. You see that there's a second scorch mark on it. So you imagine that was from Drake's phaser. So this must be the first one that attacked the shuttle the first time the injuries were sustained by the captain and everyone. Scanning it, let's see. What exactly are you looking for before I let you know all the jazz that's happening?
Basically, it's a basic physiology. Perhaps
Okay.
if it's blood, it might be toxic. If there's any toxin.
Okay. Scanning it, we'll say that the basic thing you scan is again, it's as you know, it's adapted to life in a very cold atmosphere, so it's hardy in that sense, but it seems to also be quite frail. Just the way that your phaser, not even in any kill setting, was enough to do damage to it to kill it. It just the shock, maybe the heat from it due to temperature, you're not really sure, but it seems that as robust as it is for living in an Arctic climate, it doesn't really have much in the way of like self-defense against weapons of this sort. So it died there. But the interesting thing is you start your scans pick up traces of the plant that you have the sample of. You detect traces of the plant inside its body.
Okay.
Not as if it was ingested, but it's as if it's part of the body.
Interesting. All right, Captain, I'm detecting what seems to be a chemical makeup similar to this plant within this creature's system.
What do you mean, Lieutenant?
Well, it doesn't appear that this chemical comes from ingestion of the plant, but is of the exact similar makeup, as if it is its own nature. Maybe it secretes the same substance. Maybe it is the generator of this plant.
You think these creatures create this plant? Interesting.
Quite possible.
Can you investigate further?
I will do so.
Okay, what would you like to do?
All right. I guess I can try to take a sample of it. Just take perhaps a piece of the flesh, maybe
Okay.
rub the body.
Yep. All right. You're able to do that easily with just tools you have on hand.
Okay. And I'd also like to make a scan of its structure as far as its attack or defense. Whether it has its teeth, its internal structure.
Mm-hmm. Just based off your original scan too, taking a look at that, it doesn't really appear to, even though it has like a pincher for a beak, it really doesn't appear to be much of a predator the way that you've seen on other planets.
Okay. All right. All right, I'm going to take that sample then.
Okay. Are you going to go into the shuttle, or are you going to stay outside the shuttle?
I'll stay outside the shuttle for now.
Okay. So you'll start running your scan on the sample there for a second, but I want to get back to Drake real quick before we're actually, yeah, that'll be good because I need the time for the scan to take place. So Drake, you get the thing disabled, so now you use up 1 hour of your 7. It's at least a 2-hour run back to the shuttle, but it's going to take probably significantly longer if you're taking the Shran with you.
Yeah, I thought about that.
Yeah. And that's if you're hurrying back to the shuttle, which is again the next roll of your die for this.
Yeah, I was thinking it might be best to shut the door of the shuttle and leave him here for a while, run back, grab the ship, and then come pick him up, rather than trying
That's an
to
option.
drag his ass through the snow.
You gotta make your choice soon, my friend.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be jogging back, so I'm going to be generating a lot of heat. So I think I'm going to leave him with one of my coats. Just
Okay.
yeah. So he doesn't freeze to death while
Yeah.
I'm gone.
Uh-huh.
That, and shut the door, and then I'm gonna have to start jogging back, and perhaps take the stimulant to warm me up while I run.
Okay. All right, that's good. So that'll be the next roll we'll do for you there. So that is going to be a security and fitness roll. Difficulty of 1. Yep. Difficulty 1, critical rating, or is that right? Critical rating? What do I call it? Complication range. I see CR in here and I just go crazy. Complication range of 2.
2. Is this more of an endurance test?
Basically, yeah.
Cool. My focus is endurance. I'm taking
There
it.
you go. You're built for this part.
Yeah, this is my one good thing. 2.
That's good. You generate 1 extra momentum on there, and you head off into the icy wilderness, heading due south. Got your tricorder out, making sure you're not getting lost. All the while on the horizon, getting bigger and darker, is just this black, tumultuous cloud of blizzard-like destruction coming your way. Okay, and really quick, going back to the shuttle one more time there, Gene, scanning the sample you have. The scans are complete. You detect that the creature itself, the actual makeup of the creature itself, seems to have the same traits that your tricorder has previously recorded on the plant itself. So it would appear that the plant and this creature are connected somehow as either the same being or a symbiotic life form.
Just relay that information real quick over to the captain, just basically telling her it appears, as far as my scans have shown so far, the relation between the plant and this creature seems to be quite similar. It could be symbiotic or other. I have yet to determine the true nature of this.
So what you're saying then is that these plants may be these actual creatures who are attacking the ship, perhaps in an embryonic form or a childlike form?
That is quite possible.
This is unexpected. And Gene, before anything else can happen there, I'm going to use 2 of these very kindly generated threat that you have all been so kind to give me. And your tricorder begins beeping again with the motion detection. And just off to the side, the creature reemerges, explodes through the dirt. Wrong one. I want to turn it the other way. Come on, you. There we go. One more. There we go. Comes up with a roar on the other side of the shuttle while you're there next to the dead body, and it just starts worm crawling its way, rushing towards the shuttle again. And then we'll go back to the DeGrasse Tyson. Real quick. Okay, back to the DeGrasse Tyson. We're just going to do the typical Star Trek thing, if we may. We're going to have all of you senior staff folk, if I can find you, senior staff folk, into the ready room to come up with a plan of attack. Commander, you've been informed on everything that's going on. This is very, very shortly after the last scene on the DeGrasse Tyson ended. So you're informed of what's going on. You know the risks, and you know even more so the risks, as the Admiral has told you and only you. But everyone has basically given their reports of what happened.
All right. Our first order of business, Lieutenant Commander Velik, you are as soon as this meeting finishes, you are to immediately teleport back every single. Do we have a name for their race yet?
They described themselves as the Bimin.
Bimin. You are to teleport back every Bimin and all of their belongings back to their ship immediately. This is not up for discussion. Our number one priority at this point is preventing any more of these explosion-like circumstances that we have already experienced with the ring. We cannot put the ship at jeopardy for the cause of a few people that we are attempting to rescue. Once they are safely back on their ship, we will investigate if there is any way we can save them safely without any more chances of these kind of events happening.
So you do intend to find some solution to their problem then?
So long as we do not have an imminent danger of a large-scale reaction happening again, we will continue to try and save them as best we can. But if we cannot find a solution which has a 100% guarantee of stabilizing them in our space, then we cannot risk having more of these events happening.
Very well. Provided I have your guarantee that we will try to find some solution, I will do as you say.
Yes, as I said, so long as we know that we are not going to cause another one of these reactions, we can continue to work towards a solution. That being said, after they have been sent back and we have confirmed that it has stabilized them on their ship, our first order of business is to run simulations and to determine what, how, and when that rift might be closed. After we have determined a possible emergency exit plan in a way that we could close the rift, then we will continue to work to try and bring them back to our ship. But again, our number one priority is to prevent any more of these reactions from happening.
Understood.
So I'm assuming then that probably both Alder and Velik would be involved in coming up with these solutions. So Velik is more of a engineer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Alder is more of a scientist.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Lieutenant Alder, I would like you to investigate. Like I said, the first step of the plan is investigating how the rift might be closed in the case of an emergency. If we start to see that their ship is going to could possibly have a similar reaction to as the ring did, then we need to be able to close the rift as quickly as possible to prevent that reaction, as it would be far more catastrophic than simply a small ring, or an object as small as the ring.
Understood.
There are multiple, I assume there will be multiple avenues of approaching this, whether it is interacting with the rift itself or interacting with the ship. Again, I do not say this lightly, but if destroying the ship will close the portal, will close the rift, then that is still a preferable outcome to letting another of these reactions take place.
Understood.
It is, of course, the last choice, but it still is on the table. Please take this into consideration when doing your calculations and simulations.
Understood.
Lieutenant Commander Velik, I would like you to assist Lieutenant Alder on doing these simulations, especially considering the work you have already done on using the transporter and stabilizing them. As soon as these simulations have been done, I want you to focus on trying to find a permanent method of stabilizing of stabilizing the refugees so that we might bring them back aboard safely.
Understood, Commander.
Okay. We do not know the exact nature of this rift, and given the danger of these reactions, time is of the essence. So work swiftly, gentlemen.
All right. When that's done real quick, I'm going to spend 2 threat again, since I have it. And while your meeting is done, just as everyone stands from the table, you get a message from Dr. Ardun down in the sick bay. Commander Lalk.
Yes.
Commander Lalk, it is our Bimin friend. He's on the floor.
Is he sparking?
Yes, he was on the table a moment ago, but now he's on the floor.
Lieutenant Commander Velik, we need you to do this as quickly as possible. They need to be sent back to their ship and have whatever was done to them to stabilize here reversed.
The ship is starting to tremble very noticeably, by the way.
I will head to engineering immediately.
Very good.
Okay, so what's the plan? Who's doing what?
I think as this is happening, I actually want to speak to the commander quick. I say, Commander Log, I have a hypothesis here that as these Bimin are sort of losing their ability to stay in our dimension as they are shifting, I have just run simulations recently that show me the interaction between our two dimensions could have actually dire consequences for the ship. My simulation showed something about an unknown particle that would result in these dire consequences, as I've said. So I think it's of the utmost importance that we stabilize the aliens that are on our ship to prevent this.
That is the logic behind sending them back to their ship and having the stabilization we originally had done for them to enter our dimension reversed, so that they are in. We want to send them back to their dimension in their ship in order to try and prevent this kind of reaction from happening.
Understood.
Which is why we will try and find a solution for them from their ship rather than leaving them here, where they might continue to put themselves and us in danger.
Bill, can I check what is the status of what was the status of their ship? Like the engines were non-functional?
So the engines were basically broken and they were venting like the toxic gas in there. The back half of the ship that has the engine room is still stuck on the other side of the rift, while the front of the ship is protruding through. And again, if you might remember, there is the that gas cloud that's around it that you scanned. It seems to its neutralizing properties of the gases seem to be the one thing that's keeping like a buffer between their ship and this reality. So it's like that's the only reason why this rift was stable enough for a ship to even break through a little, because typically any rift like this would be instantly canceled out, just like you're seeing with the ring here. But it's the nature of the gas cloud that this rift appeared in, which is keeping it, it's kind of the little safety zone that's keeping that dimension from touching this dimension.
And I'm trying to remember, Talbot and the other Bimin, they had they asked for sort of what do you call it, like refuge in our universe? Yes. Like they were trying to escape from this order, right?
Yeah, they're being hunted and they're going to face an even more brutal sentence than what their lives were going to be.
Okay, well, I'll head back to the science lab in the meantime to run the simulations as Commander Log requested then.
Okay.
Also, I'd like to add to Lieutenant Alder, before you leave.
Yes, yes, Commander.
Considering that we believe the gas cloud has it's interacting with the rift in order to stabilize it, please consider one avenue of approach when looking at how to close the rift. That possibly, if we can disturb the concentration of gases in the area of the rift in some manner, that we might be able to destabilize it so that it would not close as it naturally would normally.
Okay, understood. I'll have a look at that immediately.
Oh, excellent, thank you. And at that point, I also contact, I assume Commander Velik has already left since I told him to do that immediately. Yeah. I'll contact him over radio. And Lieutenant Commander Velik.
Yes, Commander.
I want to add some details to my earlier commands. Although I understand the peril we might be sending our guests into by sending them back into their own ship. Under no circumstances are you to send them with anything from our ship, as this might cause the same sort of destabilization in their ship. So as much as I would like to send them back with some sort of medical equipment or masks in order to help protect them from the poisonous gases, I do not believe that is safe for them in the long run, as it might cause the same sort of explosions on their ship. However, I would like you to assign someone from your crew to stay in contact with them, or one of your engineering team to help them over via radio construct some sort of devices from leftover parts on their ship that might suffice as breathing apparatuses or something to help them survive the poison, or either survive the poisonous gases or stop the flow of the poisonous gases into their ship.
Understood, Commander.
To be clear, your role is to, of course, focus on the on the tasks I previously asked you, the simulations. But if you can assign this task of helping the refugees with survival on their ship, that would be much appreciated.
I will focus on my duties. I will assign someone from my team. Understood.
Excellent.
Okay, so I have to ask, what's being done about Talbot right now?
He should be getting.
I guess we're gonna have to
back.
Yeah. I'm sorry. What? Sorry, I couldn't hear. Both of you were talking at the same time.
Getting teleported back.
Okay. Who's doing the teleportation?
That would be me.
Okay. All right. Then you're probably going to beam him directly from sickbay to his ship, right?
Yeah, with the fact that he's sparking, it's probably not enough time to get them down there. So we'll probably have to do it directly from where they are at.
Okay. So it would probably be best if you went to the transport room, of course, to do it, even though you could do it from anywhere because that gives you the best controls, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You're locking onto him in sickbay, and again, he's not going from the computer or the transporter pad directly to another transporter pad because you're doing site-to-site beaming, so that makes it even more difficult. But the big problem is that the fact that he's becoming unfazed right now, like severely unfazed at the same time, so locking onto him is even more difficult. So this is going to be using the what's it called? The advantage that you had established the last time. That's going to at least help you a bit, but you lose it's not an advantage, but you lose the quality of actually having him on the transport pad. But time is of the essence. So this is actually a difficulty 4 with a critical range of 4.
You mean complication range of 4?
Yes, because I don't know the terms of this game still after 2 years. Yeah.
All right. That's control and engineering, right?
Control and engineering, yeah, that works with it. And you also have the advantage of your crew working with you. So we're going to say that you always have that. So let's make that a difficulty of 3, actually, because your crew is backing you up at all times.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else you're going to use for that?
I think we used it last time. Let me just double check my notes here.
Yeah, I don't think you have any value of that, but I don't know what your
I used
your other intel?
experience brings wisdom last time, which created the advantage with the transporter.
Yeah. And
So-
you'd have to use something negative. You'd have to use something negative that would be able to give you some point back to use it. So it doesn't look like anything applies right now.
Mhm.
Or should not always be followed. Okay. Yeah, the talents of bold engineering. Bold engineering. Well, if you buy dice with threat, I mean that lets you re-roll.
Okay. Let's just go with what we got here then. So
Okay, what's that? Just the 2?
just the 2, yeah.
Okay. Oh, I opened the wrong window. Okay, you got a 1. Okay, you attempt to start beaming him through. You're having trouble locking onto him. It's the pattern buffers or the targeting scanners are not able to grab onto him properly the way that they should be. And again, being a site-to-site transport, it's even more difficult than possible. So you keep trying and trying, and then you hear on the speaker, Dr. Arden's voice, like, this is a ship-wide alert. All crew, evacuate sickbay right now. Evacuate sickbay. And then there's a huge blast that rocks the ship. All the lights start flickering on and off throughout the ship. Velik, you're thrown from your standing position onto the ground. And let's do roll here. Commander, everyone on the bridge, you are just thrown to the floor. The ship starts tilting and arcing, and you're getting reports of hull breaches across deck 3. Massive damage reports coming in and casualty reports flooding in from that deck.
Lieutenant Commander Velik, report.
There was some sort of incident. The doctor mentioned some sort of incident in sickbay, ordered an evacuation, and then the explosion happened. So I'm not quite sure what just
All right.
occurred.
Was
Commander.
the teleportation or what? Were they beamed properly? Was it completed, or are they
Bill?
still on the ship?
No. You were only trying to beam Talbot, but you were not able to successfully lock onto him, and you lost his pattern at the same time that the explosion happened.
As far as I know, it does not seem to have been successful, Commander. I was trying to beam Talbot first, but I was having trouble locking onto his signature, and during the attempt, that was when the disruption occurred.
Do you register his signature anymore? Is he still on the ship?
Let me confirm that.
No, you don't get anything. You can't find him at all.
I find no trace of him, sir.
Are any of them still on the ship?
The others should still be here, as I was only attempting to transport Talbot. So let me search for their signatures as well.
You're detecting no life signs in sickbay right now.
So I think next thing to do is to find out what happened in sickbay. So can I try to reach the doctor?
Yeah, you call to the doctor and there's no answer.
Okay. Commander, I'm having trouble finding them in sickbay. There are no life forms reading, and the doctor is not answering my hails.
At that point, I'm already heading physically myself to sickbay.
Okay.
I'm on my way to sickbay to investigate. In the meantime, continue to scan the ship for any traces of any of our guests.
Understood, sir.
Whether it be them as their entirety or any remains of them, we need to know exactly what happened to them. And as I'm leaving, I then contact Lieutenant Alder.
Mhm.
Lieutenant Alder, has there been any change in the Rift or their ship?
Bill, can I roll? Would I know that, or should I roll sensors?
Oh no, just look at scanning though. Their ship is still fine where it is.
Commander Locke, no change to their ship.
Okay, and the Rift itself is still stable?
From what I can see, yes.
All right. Please continue working on your previous tasks.
Will do, Commander.
Okay, and I am at this point going to med bay as quickly as I can.
Okay, you get off the turbo lift into heading towards the sick bay, and you see there's a lot of smoke in the corridor. There's a lot of smoke in the corridor. The scorch marks on the wall, a lot of the panels are broken, and there are emergency force fields put up. You can tell that some parts of the hall are now breached and open to space. You see some of the Bimin children crying and screaming on the huddled in the corridors around where sickbay is.
Okay, so I do see Bimin.
You do see Bimin. You see a couple members of the crew themselves injured, lying on the ground. Some medical ensigns there with blood on their head scanning. You also see Dr. Arden unconscious and severely wounded on the ground.
Lieutenant Commander Bellick.
Yes, Commander.
All right, I'm in sickbay. There are still Bimin here. I need you to immediately assess whether the explosion was caused by your attempt to beam them away, or if it was simply the same as the ring, that it happened because we were not fast enough.
Okay, do I have to do a roll for that?
I would say that you wouldn't have to do a roll for that. I would say that because just judging by the condition that what is it, Talbot was in at the time,
Yeah.
the sparking of that's exactly what happened right before the ring exploded. It just that it took too long and you weren't able to successfully get the transporter off before it happened.
So it wasn't the attempt to transport them.
No, it seems that everything was just following the same course. It was just that you weren't able to get that lock on before it happened.
Okay, so let me relay that to the commander, and then I should try to attempt to teleport the others off.
Okay.
Excellent. That is exactly what I was going to ask you to do. Again, our number one priority right now is returning every Bimin,
yeah.
Every Bimin back to their ship as quickly as possible.
Understood,
Okay.
Commander.
Is there any way that I can help him by being there next to them to help him?
Oh yeah. You could actually, the other Bimin, they're not glowing, they're not sparking anything yet. They can go to the transporter room to make it easier.
Okay.
This doesn't have to be a direct, yeah.
Okay, in that case, I will look around. Do I see any other crewmen that are conscious?
Yeah, the ones that are treating the injured, yeah.
Okay. So I will get their attention, the few that are treating the injured.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll say, attention crew, I need everyone who is able to help escort every Bimin to the teleporter room immediately. This is a number one priority. The wounded will have to wait to be treated until this has been completed.
When you say that the older female Bimin rushes out to you like, what do you mean? You're not sending us back, are you?
If I do not send you back now, not only are your own lives in jeopardy, but that of the entire ship. The longer you wait here, the higher the chance that you will spontaneously combust into nothing.
Well, then send me back. Save the children.
You will all be sent back as quickly as possible. Please go with this, and I gesture towards the closest crew member.
Now the children start screaming and crying, saying they don't want to go back. They're scared and all the usual kind of panic.
Looking at the medical staff, I'll ask, have you been able to successfully administer any kind of treatment or medication to the Bimin? Have our medications been able to interact with them?
Yes, we've treated them for the poisons that they've breathed in.
All right. If there has been no negative interaction between our medicine and their bodies, then if these children do not calm down, then please subdue them in the most kind ways means necessary and take them to the transport room. This is of the utmost priority and is to be done as quickly as possible.
Yes, Commander. Sharmek looks at you and like, you're no better than the Order, are you? You're just another monster that doesn't care for
I'm
anyone.
trying to save your lives.
You're trying to kill us all.
If you do not participate, then we will send you back without whether you like it or not. If you do not do this, you are more than likely to explode as your previous leader did just moments ago. Do you want that?
She looks shocked when you say the word explode. What did you do to him?
I do not have time for this. And I look to the nearest officer and with a stern look that tells him to take them away. I don't need to say words.
Okay. They're going to go and you just hear like a lot of screaming, panic, and anger behind you that slowly starts trailing off one by one as they're falling unconscious. Okay.
Right.
Alder, what's going on during this time here? What are you doing in your part? Clearly, you know there's been an explosion. There's hull breaches around the ship.
I think despite that, I'm extremely focused on what the commander requested. So I'm frantically running simulations, trying to figure out if there is any way to alter this concentration of the gas cloud or such, so that we can sort of send the ship back. So I'm probably just laser focused on that, despite, well, I suppose if I could say it this way, the explosions have heightened my sense of urgency in completing this task.
Makes sense. Okay, then just give me a computer's roll here because you're running simulations again. So that's probably just a control and science. And if somebody wants to support with the deGrasse Tyson with a computers and science role as well, anyone is free to do that. Any volunteers?
Yeah, what was it again?
Computers and science on the deGrasse Tyson. It's only roll of 1 on the deGrasse Tyson as usual, and deGrasse Tyson always has focus.
Complication range?
What's that? Complication range for this is just 1.
Let's see. Sorry, Bob, I was just checking with you. Control and science for me?
Control and science for you, yes.
Let's see. No, I'm just trying to.
I apologize.
Focuses.
Yeah, I apologize. Difficulty 0, not 1. Apologies, 0, not 1.
Ooh, can I actually set it as 0?
You don't know. You don't have to
okay.
touch that. That's just how many successes you need.
Focused, used. Yes, I suppose, right? Computers. Oh, no, that. No, don't worry. No focus, compilation, 2 range, 2, That's cool. Oh, geez.
Okay. All right. So we got again. It's a difficulty of 0, so it doesn't matter that you got 0. We still got 2 successes from Drake because you achieved successfully getting 0 results. That's all you needed. But you also got a a complication. Your scans are showing, like scanning the gas cloud itself. The thing is that you won't really be able to change the composition of the gas cloud, and if you did change it from its neutral composition, it would just react like how all the stuff from the Bimin's universe are reacting to this. So the instant that you change the composition that removes its neutral state, it would be in contact with the ship from their galaxy, and it would set off a massive explosion based on the size of their ship, which would then increase the likelihood that these unknown particles are generated. And you don't really know more about the particles. The fact that it looks like before you got it that the rift itself is attempting to close, but the ship is kind of wedging it open. It's like removing the ship would be the easiest way to get to close. The problem is if it comes into this universe, the moment it leaves the cloud, it's going to detonate.
Okay. And I mean, obviously the ship's got non-functioning engines, and I'm assuming it's still toxic with the gas inside.
Yeah, the air is still bad inside. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, I'm at a bit of a loss here. Okay, I'm gonna beep boop my little communicator for Commander Lalk.
Yes.
The number you're trying to reach. Oh, sorry.
Commander, I don't think our best course of action is to change the composition of the gas. That would probably actually get our 2 dimensions into contact sooner, which is probably the opposite of what we want. If we transport the Bimin back to their ship, we still have the further problem that the engines of their ship are non-functioning and the ship is filled with toxic gas. Our best bet in terms of actually closing the rift is for their ship to be sent back to their dimension. But with non-functioning engines, I'm not sure how we can accomplish that.
All right. Then you said that the absence of the gas would cause the collision of the 2 dimensions to accelerate.
Yes, the gas cloud is in effect acting as a buffer currently between the 2 dimensions. So it's preventing their ship from sort of coming into contact with our dimension in a way. And it's the only thing sort of saving us from this explosion that we've already suffering from now with Talbot and his other Bimin.
What is the composition of this gas cloud?
But will I have known that, or is that something?
Yeah, you'll have it. You'll have the chemical composition that you could send to him directly.
Okay, Commander, I'll send that through to you now. Then
is this composition something that we could manufacture given the materials and capabilities of our ship?
Okay, so Paul, that's something I'd have to ask you again then.
It wouldn't be hard to manufacture those particles. It would just be a matter of what you want to do with it.
And is it something that life forms as we know it, or specifically the Bimin, could survive within a high concentration of?
No, definitely not.
As I'm wondering if there might be a possibility of creating more of this gas in order to help stabilize the Bimin in our dimension.
Right now, the gas would just be a buffer. So if, for example, even if you put them like in a container with the gas, if there was anything else other than that gas in there, including oxygen or whatever it is, if it was anything else but that gas, the moment it touches one of the Bimin's molecules, it's going to set off the same reaction.
Okay. So that's not an option.
The only thing, like the phasing itself, the phasing has to be adjusted for, because anything that once it becomes unsynced with this universe, it's going to have the same reaction.
All right. Then in that case, while we continue to try and find a way to stabilize the Bimin in our dimension, which I believe Lieutenant Commander Bellick is currently working on, or will be working on once he has finished transporting all of the Bimin back to their ship. In that case, I would like you to investigate in ways that we might push their ship back through their rift. It is, in the case that something that it might start coming through to our side, we need to be able to prevent that immediately, as quickly and safely as possible. So the possible avenues would be pushing it back through, or worst case scenario, what would happen if we simply destroyed it?
Agreed, Commander. I think if we can stabilize the Bimin in this dimension, and we are now with 100% certainty they are stable in this dimension, we could simply destroy that ship, and the rift should actually close immediately by itself. Then,
that would be an ideal outcome, assuming that the destruction of the ship does not set off some sort of undesired reaction.
Okay, I will run further simulations on that and see and get a few alternative options if possible.
All right.
Okay, if I may interrupt then, two more, the threat's going to speed up the process there, where you start feeling rumbles in the ship again, but this time they're external. They're kind of external. And Commander Lalk, you're called back to the bridge.
The other thing is, in between this, I have been giving out plenty of orders to other parts of the ship for repairs and closing up the hull breaches and so on.
Okay, yeah, that's logical. Yeah. Okay, they call you back to the bridge.
So I return to the bridge.
Okay, you come back, and every time it's a rumble like every few seconds or so. So there's a gap, and then a boom, boom, boom.
So I guess I guess I just have red shirts on the bridge at this point.
Mm-hmm. They're all dying. Yeah.
Okay. Red shirt number 2. Report on what's happening outside the ship. What are these rumbles?
Like, sir, we're detecting what seems like, I don't know, charges being detonated. Our scans are showing it's emanating from the other side of the rift. It seems that something is setting off blasts on the other side, the sort you might find when you're trying to suss out a vessel hiding inside the nebula.
Sounds like the Order is getting closer to finding their ship. Looks like we have yet another timer that we must work under.
Well, the worry here, Commander, is it seems to be dissipating this gas cloud.
I see.
And we're going to jump to
estimate?
AK-807B, and we'll come back to your estimate in a second. Okay? Just start thinking of what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, David, you're still running through the wilderness, but we got to get to Thadagia first. Thadagia, you still there, my friend? He's dead. Oh my God, he's back. Okay. All right, Thadagia. So again, this creature erupts out of the snow on the opposite side of the shuttle, and it starts worm crawling its way, rushing not towards the shuttle this time, but towards your direction.
Oh, okay. How far away am I from the shuttle?
You're kind of directly behind the shuttle. Well, not behind the shuttle, but you're like directly next to the shuttle, next to the body of the first creature that you inadvertently killed. So you're kind of like at the corner, a little gap between where the shuttle is and where the worm's body rolled.
Okay, I want to go to the opposite side, away from the body, and slightly away from the shuttle. I don't want it to
Okay.
hit the shuttle.
All right, so I'll just move you about there. Is that about right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you kind of rush away just as the thing comes up. It doesn't go and attack the shuttle again. Instead, it goes up, like right up against the first creature, and it starts like it's nudging it, it's pushing it, and it's letting off like sounds of what sound like whimpering.
All right, so I'm relaying this to the captain over the comm so she can hear what's going on.
An interesting turn of events indeed, Lieutenant. Is it showing any signs of aggression?
Not yet. Appears we may be dealing with an intelligent creature here.
It seems to be experiencing emotions of some sort at the very least. And you said that it has the same genetic makeup as this plant we have harvested, correct?
Yes.
What do you suppose we should do, Lieutenant?
I'm thinking maybe these plants were a part of it, perhaps even its spawn or children. I have gathered a sufficient material from the body that we could make an exchange of sorts if necessary. Perhaps if we're under attack again, or if it shows any sign of aggression, we can place the plants outside of the shuttle and make do with what we have with the material I gather.
Do we want to wait for it to become aggressive again before we make another action, Lieutenant?
Not exactly. It's your call, Captain. I want to hit my comm and like
Okay.
Drake, Deshawn, what's your status?
Whilst between puffs of breath, I'll relay the situation that Thestron is in the down shuttle, unconscious due to an electric shock, and I am currently running back to our shuttle with the equipment we need so that we can make the repairs and then go and grab Thestron.
Okay. Your estimated time.
My estimated time is...
Well, your roll on the last time would put you in about still keeping your 2-hour minimum to get there. Yeah, you're trying your best. So you should be there within the hour.
I'll be there within the next hour.
Okay. How far is the storm out? At least maybe what, 4 hours?
It's still roughly 6 hours out.
Yeah.
What's happening there, Lieutenant?
Well, our visitors have returned. Unfortunately, I had to put one of them down, and another one has returned right now, but it doesn't seem to be focused on us at the moment. I'll wait here, try to draw it away in case it shows any aggression.
That sounds like a good course of action for the time being. I'd still recommend potentially giving them the plant if needed.
That may be necessary.
As I'm puffing along, I'll say over and out and carry on jogging.
Okay, Thadagia, as you're finishing talking, you see the creature slowly start burrowing a hole down in the space right next to it. It starts digging down, just thrashing back and forth, making a hole. It goes quite quickly the way it burrows, breaks through the ground, does that. It disappears inside the hole for a bit before reemerging again head first, and it grabs the tail of the one that you had shot, and it slowly drags it into the hole with it.
Interesting developments here. Appears there is some kind of burial ritual associated with these creatures. we're definitely dealing with an advanced intelligence here.
I see. This is very concerning, Lieutenant. I'm wondering if it might just be for the best to do as Lieutenant Drake recommended and just give up this plant, even though we lose whatever secrets it may hold. It may be far more important to these beings than what we are going to manipulate from it.
Agreed. However, it is your call at the end, Captain.
Well, as I am still unable to fully stand and not even entirely sure if I have complete control over my mental facilities, Lieutenant, I am going to leave it in your hands as our medical expert. You have the final call on this, Lieutenant, and you have my full support no matter what decision you make.
Understood.
So what's it going to be, Thadasia?
How much information were we able to gather? Would the information that we have be sufficient enough to either replicate or, with the actual physical material, I should say?
Well, you would probably have to go in and check the plant itself inside the ship, because the creature itself does not have any medicinal properties. It just has the same genetic structure that you've detected in this plant.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to do that then. See if I can come up with something very quick.
All right, going into the shuttle and just getting your scans on the sample that you obtained last time. Again, just give me a control science 0 with your tricorder. Again, a little chance for momentum building if you get anything good.
All right, and is that task roll 1 correct or 2?
That is going to be a task roll of 2. You always roll 2 unless you're supporting. And just complication range 1. Good. You got 2, so you're generate 2 momentum. You're back up to 6. You're at full. Okay. Scanning the plant itself, you see now with your detailed scans that yes, like knowing what you know of the creature now and knowing what you have of the plant now, you can see that it is somewhat of a symbiotic relationship where the bulb of this plant is almost like the egg of what this creature is, and these reed-like growths out of it that are basically part of it, that's where the medicinal properties are, but that's what's also feeding it the nutrients it needs to grow and survive. Were you to extract the plant part from it, basically both would die. You would be able to maybe harvest what the chemicals and the nutrients are directly from the plant, but you wouldn't be able to grow a new one because you're killing the creature that it's part of. It's feeding off the creature while the creature's feeding off of it. So you could get what you're looking for, but you'd have to kill the creature that it's attached to.
All right, then. I'm still gonna wait. I'm gonna wait until, try to wait until as late as possible, as possible, until Drake returns. If they show any actual signs of any more aggression, then I may have to just leave it behind and do with what we have. But if they don't, I'm inclined to take it with us.
Okay. All right, then let's speed up with you doing that. Drake, you finally get there, out of breath, exhausted. You finally come over the ridge and you see the shuttle down below. You see a bunch of different holes from creatures exploding out the ground, going back in, but the shuttle still seems basically intact the way you left it. Get down, you have 5 hours to go looking at your tricorder before this storm front comes in, and you have probably at least another 2 hours to get this thing installed. Tadagia, you hear a very exhausted Drake coming down the hill.
Good to see you, Lieutenant.
Lieutenant. I hold up the regulator, say, we need to get this installed.
All right.
What's the captain's background? Was it engineering or
Science, or well, medicine, I think. Science and medicine.
not much use for? Okay, then yeah, let's crack on whilst keeping an eye out for more worm aliens.
Okay, so are both of you going to work on it?
Yeah, I will assist at least. I have focus on plasma power systems. I'm not sure if that's going to come into play with. I also have small craft. I'm not sure.
Well, small craft would work. Small craft, definitely. That would work, because this is about small craft. Okay, so if you took the lead, you could use the focus on small craft.
My engineering is not very good, so there's a good chance you going will be better.
Okay, I can attempt this.
Okay. Hey, you're a shuttle pilot. This should be okay for you. So, all right. So for Eugene, it would be control and engineering. Control and engineering, with a focus on Drake. You're basically going to do the same thing. You're just assisting him. So that's another control and engineering, correct? Yeah. Okay. So you have that. It's a difficulty 3 and the complication range of 2 on this. Are you buying anything with your momentum or anything of the sort?
I recommend it if you. How much momentum do we have left?
You have 6.
Oh, then yeah, buy at least 2.
2. Okay, we'll do that.
That should be 3 momentum, right?
3 momentum, yes.
Cool.
Okay, so you'll be rolling 4 dice then. David will be rolling 1 die, and you are going to need to get where's the page? 3 successes.
I failed.
You said task roll 4, correct?
Task roll 4, yes.
Now, I'm not sure if this would be a good time to apply it as well.
Yeah.
Given the pressure, I wouldn't my value of inaction breeds doubt and fear, but action breeds confidence and courage.
Yeah, that sounds great to me. That sounds great to me. So let's walk back, because you didn't do the roll. Let's walk back at momentum spend. So let's see, which one is it? That's value 4. Thadagia, that's a good use of that. Thadagia, value 4 positive. Okay, so that, are you taking that again also as the 2 successes, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then you still want that extra die. That would be 2 momentum instead of 1, right?
Yes.
So then you're rolling 3 dice this time instead of 4. You already have 2 successes, and you need 1 more success.
Okay. And control and engineer. All right.
I liked your lack of confidence, saying like, okay, I guess I'll give it a try. And then you say, an action breeds doubt and fear. Action breeds confidence and courage. That is a beautiful transition. Okay. All right, let's see what happens. Oh,
Wow.
That was close.
Oh, and you get it. You get it
Wow.
by just the skin of your teeth there. Okay, that's 3. And that takes up the whole 2 hours of their working on it. Thadagia is somehow sweating in the cold, same as Drake. And after 2 hours, and you see a very black cloud on the horizon, Thadagia looks, and there's a snap and a You hear power restored inside the shuttlecraft.
Please, let's go get the Tron before he freezes to death.
Yes.
Okay. And then before you do that, bam, eruption. Creature comes up from out of the ground with 2 threat again, and it's roaring and charging at the shuttle once more. And we're going back to the DeGrasse Tyson. Okay, nice repair there, Gino. Okay, back at the Tyson. Let me know, what is the plan? What's happening? So all the Bimin have been sent back over because they were unconscious, and you had them on the transport pad, and you can take your time, and you've already trained in sending from the transport room onto the ship. So Velik, you had no problem doing that there, especially because they had yet to become unsynced. So now they're already over there. The gas cloud is being dissipated by these, for lack of a better word, depth charges from the potentially, most likely, Order, who's firing on the other side. So that just leaves, what is your plan? What are you doing? Velik, you were working on a way to keep them stabilized, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Alder, you were assisting how?
Oh yes. Last I saw, I was just running simulations to try and find alternative options and see how we could get the ship back through.
Okay.
And-
Just again, yeah, what's that?
Sorry, I need to ask. What I wanted to ask before the scene ended was asking the red shirt that I was working with, based on the current frequency of the depth charges. What is the time frame for the gas clouds, or the concentration of the gas being reduced to 75%, 50%, 25% around in the area around the ship?
Hang on, let me find the page of what I need to do. So it would be about the time. Did I write in there? So at the rate it's dissipating, the entire thing. You're making me do math, and that is just such a dick thing to do. Okay, at the rate it's dissipating, I'll just give the red shirt at the science control. He said, at the rate it's dissipating, Commander, I believe that at least 50% of the gas will be dissipated in 40 minutes, and probably all of it within the next 80 minutes.
40 minutes, 40.
40.
Okay. Lieutenant Alder, Lieutenant Velik, Lieutenant Commander Velik, you have 30 minutes to find a solution for stabilizing them and bringing them back. At that time, we will be destroying the ship and closing the rift. There is no way around this, no questions. Work quickly, please.
Also, I'll just give you, Alder, one last thing from your simulation, since it relates and applies. You already relayed the information about the gas and everything there last time, but as it applies is that probably destroying the ship would be the worst option of the two, because there's no telling where shrapnel may fly, and any shrapnel that left the cloud would do what you don't want it to do. So the poking it in the eye and sending it back through would probably be the better of the two options.
Okay, so I will, given that information, Lieutenant Alder, you are to continue to find the best way to safely close the rift. Lieutenant Velik, you are to continue to try and find a way to save the Bimin. Either way, we will be closing the rift in one fashion or another in 30 minutes.
Okay, so here's the thing we could do then for you people to, I would say it would probably be best to come up with your solution of what you want to do. So talk it through. What basically, Velik, you're just trying to find a way of permanently phasing them to this reality. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, hang on a second. Okay, so you already have your idea. So since that's the idea you want, I'll say just to do a roll to create advantage. It's going to be a difficulty 2 roll, and then you'd have to spend 2 momentum if it succeeds to create advantage that will help you for what the process is going to be. So it would probably be an insight and science or insight and engineering for you, because you're trying to do something with the transporter. You could be assisted by anyone. So Commander Lalk, you could try to assist with anything you have as well. I mean, this could be the 2 of you down in the transporter room, talking it through, working together. Alder can join in as well, but Alder has his own project to push the ship through. So what do you gentlemen want to do with this?
Okay, so I could I use science holds all the answers as a value?
Again, you still have to get that determination back because it's still spent.
Okay.
So you would have to do like a trick like what Terrence did, where he challenged his value last time to give him a complication, and then instantly use the determination that the challenge gave him to spend it on his next one, because he already used his 1 for the episode.
Okay.
Which actually, no, wait, so hang on. Something's happening here. Hang on. Where is it? We have it here. Oh, maybe it's not here. Sorry, I thought Lalk might have something, because I think there's some kind of talent or something where the commander can give a point of determination to a person. But I think it might be a talent, but I don't think Lalk has it. Shoot. Let me see. Yeah,
I think my collaboration science would help at all, right?
That would be 2 of you working together on a science task, but it looks like you're working separately.
Yeah.
I think Lalk, but I mean, yeah.
I don't even. Oh, it's attributes and ability. No. Sorry, I'm not even seeing where. I've got bold command. I think it's the only thing I have.
Okay. Yeah. Geez. Yeah. It must be something else.
Follow
Yeah,
my lead would be the other one.
Okay. Yeah. One person spend 1 determination, and 1 ally's next act gets assistance from your presence in command. Oh, so you could, yeah, you would be able to use your determination point to give your presence and command score as the assist instead of whatever the assist might be. Like if it was control and engineering, which is 8, instead you would be using what presence and command. So it would be 13, for example. So that, yeah. Okay, yeah. I can't remember what that thing is, but yeah, I don't think it applies right now. So sorry about that. Okay.
I will actually be, I mean, it's kind of a slow overall, like not just this specific action, but all the actions I think I'll be taking for the rest of this will be challenging my value on the greatest honor is defending those weaker than you.
Okay.
In that,
yeah, that's a good challenge.
I am not acting in the manner that I normally would, which would be trying to protect the weakest, which would be the Bimin or the people in most need. I am setting that aside to follow my Starfleet orders, and I will be going to help Lieutenant Darius Alder in order to find the best solution to safely push the ship through and close the rift, and not trying to save the Bimin aboard it.
Bimin. Okay, there you go. So challenging that. So you have 2 points of determination then because of that challenge. Okay.
This might be a reach, Bill. So let me know.
Okay. All right. Let's see.
One of my values is orders should not always be followed. And you know, I'm trying to keep these people alive, but you know, with following Lalk and Starfleet's orders, we may be in a situation where I have to blow them up.
Yeah, definitely. That's one you could challenge right now, because you're going against that. You're thinking like, okay, like this isn't an order I should follow, but I'm following it anyhow because
Right.
Yeah, you want to challenge that one?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, Velik, that's number 4v4 exclamation point. So you got 1 point determination back, and you're going to spend it on science holds all the answers.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's going to, you're using that as, do you want to use that to instantly just create the advantage that you want instead of getting the successes for a roll? Because again, you'd have to spend the momentum after the successful roll anyhow to create the advantage. So if you want, you could just use that determination to instantly create that advantage that you were looking to achieve.
Yeah, let's create that advantage then.
Okay, that's called a make it so. So you create the advantage of basically creating a permanent stable phase transition. Permanent phase transition. How's that?
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, now that you already got that done, this is going to be an extended task for you to see how many of these Bimin you would be able to save within the time. So
Okay.
what the extended task does, it's a difficulty of 4. However, you got your advantage created there with that. So that's actually going to make it a difficulty of 3 for you.
Okay.
Then,
sorry, keep going.
Sorry. Then along with your engineering crew with you, that's going to knock it down to difficulty of 2 as well.
What about focuses? Would I be using any of these here?
Let's see, where's your focus of observation? Or
Observation, electroplasma, power systems, warp field dynamics.
This one, no. Looking at
Okay.
these, no. These ones wouldn't apply to
focus. What about complication?
Complication range on this is let's see, work track 13. Let me just read it off to you. It's going to be a difficulty 2 now. This has a resistance of 2 on it as well, which means it eats up 2 of your work done when you roll on the work track. Work track of 13, in case you want to keep track. Magnitude of 4, which means you need 4 breakthroughs to complete this because it's just a very complicated thing to do. Complication range on this is actually just 1.
Okay.
Shockingly. Okay. But right now there's only 10 Bimin left. After that, 2 of the children were killed in the sickbay blast and Talbot is gone. But you've also sent their corpses back with them, so hooray. So we'll start the extended task roll for you, and then we'll get to Lalk and Alder working on their thing in a second. So the first roll, the extended task is going to be engineering and control and engineering, I should say. Nobody is there to assist you, so you're just going with your engineering team who lowered the difficulty.
And it's just a task roll of 1 then, right? Because we used
No, task roll 2, you're still rolling 2 unless you're buying extra dice for this. So again, the more dice you buy, of course, the more chance you have for success. And let me get to the extended task page so I don't forget the things you could spend on it. So I apologize. Extended task. It's my Klingon book. It's 82. It's not different thing. 82 is momentum for expense. There we go. Let's see. Yeah. That's in effects. Yeah, don't have that, but momentum spend. Yeah, additional work, piercing, and reroll. Okay, so there it is. So are you buying extra dice? And also you have bold engineering guy things, which means any dice you buy with threat, you can reroll.
Okay, yeah. So let's buy an extra dice then.
Okay, so 1 extra die. So you would be rolling 3 dice right now.
So task roll 3 then?
Task roll 3.
Okay, all right. Okay, focus control and engineering, you said, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Difficulty 2. And you got 2, which is what we need. Then, because this is an extended task, not a regular task, you passed. Now you have to see how much progress you're making on this. So you are going to roll 7, what's it called? Command dice. So the little delta dice there.
Okay.
So yeah, just
You mean the challenge dice?
Challenge dice, yeah. So you roll 7 challenge dice.
Why did it say? No, don't think it
yeah, you need to make sure.
There we go.
Okay, so what that's doing is you got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You got 7 rolls on there. Let's see here. Now with the momentum, you also have 4 momentum. So let me just talk you through what's happening right now. There's resistance of 2. You rolled 7 successes on there. Resistance of 2 knocks it down to 5, and 5 is enough for 1 breakthrough already, which is good. That's about the maximum you could get unless you really blew through the whole thing. So you got 1 breakthrough already, which is a good thing. And you've taken 5 off of the work track. The work track is 13. So it's now down to 8. You got 1 breakthrough. You need 4 to get the whole crew done in time. And you still have momentum. And what you can do with the momentum is each momentum you spend can add more work. You could spend 1 momentum to cancel 2 points of resistance. So that might be the most efficient if you want to use one now. That will gain you 2 more work on the work track.
Okay,
Okay, so spend 1 and that cancels out the resistance. So you now did full 7 points, bringing you down to just 6 left on the work track, which is good. You got 1 breakthrough, and I don't think you really need to spend any more of the momentum right now. The only way to get a double breakthrough is to get 5 points of work done and also bring the work track down to 0, which you wouldn't be able to do in this roll alone. So right now you did pretty darn good. You got 1 breakthrough, which also means your next roll is going to be 1 step easier. So it's only a difficulty of 1. So that was a very successful first attempt.
Okay.
But you only have 3 more tries before time runs out, but so far it's looking good for you. Okay.
All
right. Quickly going back to Velik, not Velik, I was looking at your name, to Lalk and Alder. Lalk and Alder. So you're trying to find the way to push the ship through.
Mm-hmm.
Any chance I can use either insight and engineering, I'm assuming, with a focus of starship propulsion engines?
Okay.
I mean, to sort of like look over these simulations I've been doing, to maybe determine a way to somehow get that ship back through.
Okay. What do you say, Lalk? Are you supporting on this, or are you waiting to use any support?
I am considering using I'm thinking through my starship tactics to try and find something that might be applicable.
Okay.
The restriction being that I'm trying to avoid contact as much as possible between anything from our dimension and anything from theirs, atom or material wise. So pushing something into it physically doesn't seem like much of an option. Using our ship to push it does not seem like an option. Pushing another body of some sort into it does not seem like an option. So some sort of concussive force seems like the most viable or safest option. So if we could potentially detonate torpedoes in front of it, or something a lot similar.
Shockwave, perhaps? Maybe create a shockwave using those torpedoes in some way?
Yes, exactly. So that we're not directly interacting with the ship, but we're still pushing it.
Okay, what do you say, Alder? What do you think?
I mean, it certainly seems a plausible way. I don't know if we'd be able to achieve a strong enough shockwave, but I mean, there's only one way to find out, I suppose.
Okay.
Simulations.
Now the other problem would be also to keep in mind that if you use the torpedoes to send the shockwave, it's going to be similar to what's happening on the other side. So you might speed up the dissipation of the cloud.
That's a tricky one. Have we gained any insight? Sorry, have we gained any insight from the simulations?
Where are you looking for? Where are you looking for? Do your insight and science, and Lalk, you can assist if you would like.
Science.
I actually have a short idea. Lieutenant Alder, we have a tractor beam on this ship, correct?
Yes.
Is it possible to reverse the output of that to make it a propulsion beam?
Bull, could we reverse the polarity of the tractor beam to somehow push instead of pull? I'm not sure.
As soon as you bring up the idea, Talar walks up to you with a sonic screwdriver and he hands it to you, and he says, "This should do the trick." I'm not surprised you didn't think of it already.
Okay, so I suppose
it's possible. It's possible. Yeah.
Okay. So
right.
what are the steps we need to do for this then, I suppose? Like
something like this would not be too difficult, especially with you in the science department there. So yeah, it would just be a basic, just to make sure that it doesn't cause any kind of problem contacting difficulty 1. So it's going to either be engineering or science and control. And Lalk is fully ready to assist you at any time.
Yes.
Let me just double check control. Well, I suppose science, seeing it's a tiny bit better that, right? So
yeah,
control science. Yeah, so I suppose still focus used, yeah, right? Engineering prowess, I suppose. Good.
Yeah, that could work. Yeah.
Complication 2, I'm supposing, unless you're
complication range is 1 right now.
Ooh, easy. And
Lalk, what are you rolling? Control and engineering, control and science, or something, or you want to use your special?
I think I'll use. Is the special like a one-time per episode?
Which one? Which one? The determination?
Yeah.
Determination is, well, you got 2 points now, so you can use up to 2 times.
Well, this is just researching it, not actually doing it, right?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Okay, well, if it's just researching it, then I am going to spend, I guess, 1 point of determination to help out.
Okay, there you go.
So I still have another for the actual assisting in the actual act of doing it.
Okay, so then that's your follow my lead talent. So presence and command, you'll roll instead.
Okay.
Just following your idea. Okay.
Presence and command.
And you're just only 1 die on this one.
Okay. Complication range 1.
1.
And task roll 1.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Since it's a support. Okay.
Oof, ouch.
Okay. The problem with this now is that counts as a 0 because Alder was the lead.
Has to be successful.
Yeah. Alder has to be successful,
See.
and he's not. So we'll say this. I'm going to gain 2 threat from this, but we'll say that basically what the simulation show is, yes, it's doable, but now you have no idea if it's going to have an adverse reaction when you try it, but you know you can do it. Okay?
Does it seem like it'll have more of an we don't know what kind of adverse reaction.
You have no idea if it's going to have any adverse reaction at all, or if it's just going to do exactly what you want. The simulations are inconclusive because of the composition of the cloud, seems to make it safe, but the move itself can be risky. Velik, I need you to make your second roll right now, if you can. The same exact thing. Well, not exactly the same exact thing. Are you going to buy any extra dice?
So I can buy extra dice with momentum, right?
With momentum or threat. Threat is the one they'll let you re-roll it if it turns poorly in your favor.
I do also oh, with threat, that's reroll. Never mind.
Yeah.
Just wondering about. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. Let's use a threat then.
Okay, so you'll be rolling 3 dice. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, and again, this time the difficulty is 1 now. You knocked it down to 1 from the last breakthrough.
Okay.
Was that your roll?
Yeah.
Okay, it didn't make a sound, my page, and like there's a new Velik there. Okay, you get 2 extra momentum built up. From that, you got the success, and then roll your 7 dice again for the
All right.
extended task. This is your second out of 4 attempts. Okay, what you get this time? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 this time. And again, you can spend 1 momentum to reduce the resistance to make all 6 apply.
All right, let's do that.
Okay, so that means all 6 come off, which means you knock the work track down to 0, and you also got another breakthrough by getting 5. So you actually scored 2 breakthroughs on this one. There's only 1 breakthrough left, which means right now you're able to successfully transfer 8 of the surviving Bimin children back to the ship and have them fully phased into this universe. And you have 2 more attempts to get the last 2. The difficulty is now down to 0, and you get a bonus die on the work track roll, on the challenge dice roll because of this.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
You want me to roll the other one now, or wait?
Yeah, we might as well do that one now. Try to
Okay.
wrap up this thing because we're already hitting our time limit here today.
Okay.
Might as well just speed that up. Yeah, it looks pretty darn good. Oh, I'm sorry, you don't get the extra die to this roll. You get the extra die to the challenge die roll.
Oh, sorry. So
it would just be 2 unless you buy 1 more again.
Okay. I got enough momentum, so let's buy another one then.
Okay, with momentum. So 1 momentum spent. Okay, go ahead. 3 dice. There you go. And you get all 3 momentum back. Roll 8. Roll 8 challenge dice. And this, well, yeah, as long as you get like 7 points, you're guaranteed 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, you don't even have to spend the momentum to knock it down. You're able to successfully get all 10 surviving Bimin, including Sharmek, back with about 5 minutes to spare. Until...
Well, look at that. I don't have to traumatize Lalk by blowing up children.
Yeah. Yeah, you owe that all to Velik and his massive engineering score. Okay, so now it's do or die. Are you going to push the ship through or not?
It's either push the ship through or blow it up.
Make
Lieutenant
the choice.
Alder, at this point, which do you of your professional opinion, do you believe that it has a higher chance of reaction, a negative reaction from pushing or from destroying the ship?
I would say we go with the lesser of 2 evils and try to reverse the polarity of the tractor beam and push it through. I can't say whether any of the shrapnel might interact if we do decide to blow the ship up.
All right. Well, I'm assuming I'm with him in the science wing, or are we at the bridge?
Yeah, you're probably on the science.
Okay. Well, then I'm.
Or, you know what? No, wait. Let's put you on the bridge. They always have these climactic things on bridge. So you're back at the science department on the bridge. I apologize. There you go.
Okay. Well, then I will go and take the weapons myself.
Okay.
And Lieutenant Alder, commence with the reverse tractor beam on the ship. Should anything go awry, I will be quick to destroy the ship myself.
Understood, sir.
Okay.
And also put a large dramatic countdown timer to up on
Okay.
the main viewing.
Okay, there's a dramatic counter, and then again the pulses of the depth charger are getting closer. Like you see on the screen, the gas is dissipating, and you start to see the ship emerging from the gas as it's getting so close that the gas is almost completely gone, and it's ready to expose the Bimin ship there. Alder pushes the button, the beam activates, fires into the gas. There's a flash of light, the ship shudders, and it's shoved through the rift. And Layla shows up to see everyone at the end. Okay, and then
Oh no,
breathe
the
a sigh-
danger's not passed.
Yeah,
I'm afraid there's one more
she's
child
phasing
that was
in.
not
She's phasing
completely
in.
phased through.
Yeah.
She seems to be phasing in and out.
And you breathe a sigh of relief as all survivors are on board. The ship is back, and the rift closes just as the gas dissipates. And then, very quick, and I apologize, we're almost 5 minutes, 6 minutes over time. Jumping back to the ice planet. If I may, because the ship is now repaired. Drake, Tadagia, you are facing this creature roaring and coming back towards you all. You're both at the open shuttle. What are you doing?
Going to be drawing my phaser and suggesting that Thadagia gets to the controls and we take off now.
Agreed.
Yeah, every 10 seconds. Oh, thank you, honey. Okay, Drake, you got your phaser. Okay, Thadagia, you can start up the ship, no problem. Drake, the thing's getting close. You have to make a decision. What are you going to do?
Fire shots. So it's a worm, right? So fire shots at its
Worm-esque.
yeah, like flanks, the sides, not in the face. Just to
Well,
try
it's kind
and
of charging at you head on. So really your best bet is to hit it in the face. Shoot it in the face.
its mouth's open, right? The big tendrily mouth.
Well, it's kind of roaring at you. Yeah. Not
Yeah,
really
can I try and
tendrily.
aim for like the tendrily things, not down the throat?
Yeah, go right ahead. Okay,
I'll scar it.
Okay. So a name like that is probably going to make it a little bit more difficult. So difficulty of 3. Okay, and that's
phases is
control and
focus.
security.
3. How much momentum we got left? 3, right?
No, you're up to 6 momentum now.
Oh,
You
damn,
gained
then
it all
I'm-
back. Yeah,
I'm gonna use 3. I'm gonna get 2
There
more
you go.
dice.
there you go.
So that's 4 dice. Oh no, that's the complication range. Don't want to increase that.
No, definitely don't.
2 complication, right?
Complication range 2. Yeah,
Come on.
and difficulty is also 2. Okay. Yep, you definitely got that. Okay, roll your damage. That
Oh, thank
is all 3 momentum comes back. Okay, 4, 5. You did 5 points of damage. Are you going to spend any momentum to negate the resistance, or are you just settling with that?
Resistance is 2, right?
This one has resistance of 1.
Oh, okay. Then no, I don't want to kill it. I just want to maim it.
Okay, so you hit it for 4 points of damage and square in the flaily tentacle-like things, and it shrieks again and it dives off. It dives down into the ground and disappears in the snow, just in time for Thadagia to get the shuttle ready for flight and take off.
Yay, let's go get the shrine.
Okay.
If I
As
could
you go in,
remain there in the other ship and just take off.
and kind of like what you did in Star Wars with Dr. Death. Yeah, forget that. Okay, yeah, you take off and you go rendezvous with the unconscious Thishron and pick him up. And Thishron definitely, he said he wants to have his reaction afterwards. So we're going to do a post-game conference room chat again, like we did with the last episode, okay? But all the main objectives for this
If
episode
we
have been
some
completed.
time, I wouldn't mind trying to grab one of those pod things.
Go get the pod things. Okay.
Go get the pod things.
I will describe all what the pod things are too. So we'll pick up Thishron and head towards the pod thing, and I'll describe all that in the post-game conference room, because I know we're 10 minutes over our max time already. So I don't want to keep people who have things to do. But congratulations, both crews. I'd say you were both successful. That was pretty nice teamwork. A lot of creative uses of your skills, your values, and everything. So congratulations. I'm very surprised how this turned out. I was expecting so much more death. So much more death. And here we are again in a little post-session follow-up that unfortunately episode 3 also had. We ran out of time, so there was a little something in that episode that carried over to the conference room in our Discord. Same thing with this episode. I believe this is the last one, but after the episode was finished, our live play was finished, and there was a little more discussion about the pods, the plants that were found on AK-802b, I believe was the snow moon. Again, it's been 2 years since then. But just to let you know what the actual resolution was at the very end, plus a couple things that happened in between the ending of this episode and the start of the next episode. That's what I'm going to explain here in this, hopefully, last post-session report, because I believe every episode after this, we get everything wrapped up in the actual episode. So what happened was on the Ice Moon, Drake, Thadagia, Thishron, and the captain, Captain Savik, they travel back to where they found the pod plants. And of course, by this time, they know that these pods are basically the pupal stage of the tundra worms, as they have become known. There's some kind of symbiotic relationship between these plants and these burrowing worm creatures. The plants act as basically embryos. They are providing the nutrients by collecting almost like a Venus flytrap. And feeding the growing animal organism that is in this relationship with this plant organism. And as the animal grows, these nutrients of the plants, the same ones that have the amazing medical benefits, they are used to feed and grow this creature. By the time the creature is out of this pupal stage, those nutrients are gone. So the crew discovers that if they do extract the nutrients from the pods at this stage, it will kill the creature. It will kill the pupal form of this creature before it can grow. However, if they wait until the creature is able to sustain itself, there's no longer these nutrients inside this plant that would be of any use to them, the reason why they came to the planet. Surprisingly, Lieutenant Thadagia was leaning towards actually taking some samples back and extracting them. He knows how odd it sounded for him and how it may seem like a ethical dilemma, but he was of the belief that the benefits that this could provide to many people would be worth the sacrifice of some of these poor creatures on this planet. However, Drake, Thishron, and eventually Captain Savik agreed with them that they don't know enough about these creatures to just so casually remove them from their environment, take them back, and do things that would indeed kill them. So in the end, they decide to return the samples that they got, return back to where they found the pods, and to leave them be, leave them to grow on their own. So yeah, at the end, it was another little moral argument, moral debate, I think is more of it, of what to do with it. But the majority decided to forego whatever medical benefits might be gained from the research and instead preserve the life of these new creatures that they have discovered. Now, between the sessions, what happened was Lieutenant Alder was maybe laterally promoted from science. So as the chief science officer, he was now moved to the operations manager, which basically de facto put him as in second in chain of command after Commander Lalk. But he was put in that position to be more of an overseer of the bridge and to handle a lot of the engineering duties now that Velik has kind of backed off on his position a little bit and become a little more reserved, possibly because of the accident which killed a crew member. Also in relation to that, when there was the explosion and Dr. Ardun was injured in sickbay, that left them without chief medical officer. The deGrasse Tyson made its way back to Narendra Station for some repairs. Again, the Dominion War is just about wrapping up, so there's still a shortage of crew members. So Lieutenant Tadagia has been given a field commission of acting chief medical officer on the deGrasse Tyson until possibly replaced later or Dr. Ardun recovers from his injuries. So that's what happened post-game. The episode itself was pretty much resolved as you saw it, assuming you actually watched it. There was just that little sticking point of what to do with the pods, what to do with these creatures, and that's how they resolved it. So by the time episode 5 picks up, you might notice a change in Lieutenant Alder wearing the operations gold instead of his science blue, and that's the reason why. Also, you'll probably quickly notice that Thadagia is in control of sickbay now, because Dr. Ardun is receiving extensive medical treatment. And that's it. That's the end of episode 4, The Orphaned. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy what is coming next. In fact, I probably shouldn't say it here because it has nothing to do with this episode, but this next episode coming up, episode 5, is my personal favorite from season 1. I really love what happens in it, and I hope you will too when it finally gets up. So, thank you very much. Thank you for watching. Live long and prosper. Peace and long life. See you next time.